Good evening, folks. I hope you are all well. We're here for something a bit different, so we're going to have a bit of a painting stream tonight. So, fingers crossed, technology and everything else goes right, because I've never done a painting stream from with this setup yet, so I'm hoping everything goes well. We are, of course, actually, I better go. I had this horrible feeling I might have had the wrong miniature. So we're going to be painting Hero Quest tonight. So as you know, I've got my original copy of Hero Quest, which I had from being a youngin'. And I'm now going back to checking the Facebook group, which I put the vote in, to see which miniature we should paint tonight. Now the orc was clearly winning, but I suddenly had this thought, I wonder if something else has just like sort of bypassed it or something. So now I'm searching for it like a mug. Let me just very quickly find it in here. Which one was the one I voted for? So yeah, we'll see which one actually did win. So, yes, the orc did win. So the orc had 35 votes, the goblin had 25 votes, and the skeleton had 21 votes. So yeah, orc was the winner for tonight. Here we are. We got a few people in the chat as well, so we'll chat to those in a second. So these, let me flick across to my paintings camera. So these are the minis we're going to be painting tonight. So in the original set of Hero Quest, there was 8 of these orcs with varying different weapons. So there was the one with the sword, the hooked sword. There was a one with a mace. There was a one with a cleaver, and there was also one with a sword that had like a little bit chopped out of it. And there was 2 each of those. Now, randomly, for some reason, I can't find a second one of these. I've got 3 of these ones instead. Now, whether that was like from when I first got it, whether it was a mistake, I've got no idea. Whether they've just been mixed up over time, I've got no idea. However, I have got 8 with me tonight, and for a very quick period of time this afternoon, I put a few colours onto one of them just to try and get the skin tones right and make sure I have my paints down. So that's roughly the kind of skin tone we're going with. And I'm going to try and not use any washes and stuff on these unless I really feel it needs it. I'm going to try and actually paint it kind of old school as well, stick to the times, and just layer it up the best I can. I'm even using, let me fit across to here, I'm even using a wet palette tonight, which is something I don't very often use. This is like a sandwich box from Asda, I think, many years ago, but I'm using the lid because it's nice and thin, and I used to use this, and actually the kind of the side bits gets in the way a little bit. So this has got a sponge on it, bit of baking paper, and then that will just go over the top and keep it locked in and keeps it nice. So I'm even using a wet palette tonight, folks. So yeah, bloody hell. Will wonders never cease? Yeah, so I think I'm all kind of set and ready to go. Let's have a quick look in the chat and see who we've got tonight. I have to try and remember when I'm sitting painting, I don't get carried away, and I actually sit and remember to talk to you folks as well. So we had Dirk Ignadzek was in earlier on as well. He says, I'm so early, I'm a hatchling. This was at 5 this afternoon. We had Mark Berracloth in, who was about as always. He's going to be painting his burrows and badgers, rats at the same time tonight. Nicholas was in earlier as well, saying he's going to do some painting of the last of his Death Guard, which were freshly primed today. Dirk's also looks like he's doing some burrows and badgers as well. Richard Smith was in earlier, so he's going to slap some paint on his Grimghast Reapers while he watches. I'll grab, he peaked too early, got in half an hour too soon, so he'll be back in 30 minutes. David Moffat was in, he said, I can't figure out if I played Hero Quest in the 90s or if it was some other board game with miniatures. I feel like it was set in a city. I can't help you with that one, mate, but yeah, I don't think I realised actually just how early Hero Quest was. 1991, I think I remember just reading on the box when I was looking earlier on. Aggression's in as well, so even BlackJack is looking forward to this. Some of my first ever reasonable painting came from this stuff. My painting was atrocious, so there was probably about 10 of the models from the set. I'd made some attempt on trying to paint them up, and obviously no idea of primer. I think I just slapped some white paint on them to start with, and then started painting over the top with some kind of enamel paints and things. It was a real mix, really shiny. So yeah, I've soaked them over the last few days in some Dettol. Obviously, I can't go out to get anything else to strip them with, so luckily I had a bottle of Dettol in the kitchen. And I've soaked them and kind of cleaned them up best I can. And let me just flick back my painting screen here. And as you can see, I've primed these with an airbrush, and this is just with Ghost Grey from Vallejo, a Ghost Grey primer. So that's what we're kind of painting onto. Let's flick back a second as well. So Kieran Burns says, evening everyone, going to try and get something painted, either the Aliens Marine, Old Sworn Rat, or Gasland's truck a bit more done, and drink a beer or two as well. I'm trying to cut down on the beers. It's like every night to be coming out, shall I have a beer? So I'm actually, this is like a little bottle of lemonade, and you know, the little bottles of lager I had the other night, the French beer stuff, I've just put some beer in here and made a little shandy and a bottle of lemonade. So yeah, it's not a urine sample. I haven't got to go to the doctors tomorrow or anything. That's a really weak shandy, I think it is. Christian's in as well. Hello, Christian, mate. Busey's in as well. He's actually got some paints out himself tonight. Nice to see so many people painting. I'd imagine that'll make the chat a bit quieter, so I'll have to remember to chat. If you're sitting painting, please do just throw the odd comment in as well. It just gives me a little topic to focus on while we're painting as well. Al's back. Steve Evans is in as well. Kieran says 3-colour stream challenge. He's got to paint clothes on his Oathsworn Rat. Give me 3 colours I need to put on it in some form. I think Christians gave him turquoise, purple and orange. Nice choices. Peter said he's painting tonight the first time this year. To be honest, Peter, I've been in a bit of a painting slump as well. I kind of powered through with my Kings of War dwarfs. I kind of ran out of dwarfs and I haven't ordered any more yet. And I probably haven't painted for about 6 weeks. And I've kind of just been in a bit of a rut, I think, when it comes to painting. So I thought, I'm going to do this live stream. It'll force me to get kind of back into it today. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. If I get bored halfway through, at least I'll be here to have a chat. Brush Baller's in as well. Hello, mate. How you doing, guys? Tim Kelly's in. Anybody that hasn't seen Brush Baller's stuff, please go and check it out. He's been doing some commission stuff for Batman recently. He hasn't been painting for Batman. He's been painting some Batman for somebody else. But yeah, fantastic, mate. Love your stuff. Absolutely love it. Richard Smith's in now, as well, saying even Andy. Hello, Richard. Deep Red's in, says okie dokie Andy baby. I got my muggy Yorkshire tea, 5 Dark Elf Nights, and their Cold One mounts all primed and ready to go. I've been watching a lot of Big Cook, Little Cook with my little boy this week, and that just reminds me of the all clean and ready to cook. I've probably lost on most of the viewers there. Red Rose Wargaming's in as well. Hello, Anna. Says you're painting along with some burrows and badges. Welcome to the chat and welcome to the stream. Thank you very much. Voltmans is in. He said found it. I wonder if it was you that was. I just saw a Facebook message there. Somebody looking for the link to it. Just out of interest, are folks getting like notifications and can they see my videos okay? Something's definitely changed with YouTube recently, and like a lot of people are not getting the notifications for the last 2 live streams. It's as if it's just fell off the edge of a cliff. It's not like people have just decided to stop watching. It's just like it's as if like, people just can't even find the videos anymore. Peter voted for the Gobbo. Tony Howell's in as well. Hello, Tony. Steve, I think Steve voting for the Orcs maybe. Christian said he voted Goblin as well. Should really get started on your burrows and badges. Just get them out in front of your mate and see how you feel. You might get inspired. If they're there in front of you, just pick it. Even if it's just a bit of priming, or even if you just kind of sort of focus on on some fur on one of the models or something like that. Robert Marshall, James Zorm's in. Sorry, hello James. Robert's in. I'm not ready. Last kid won't go to bed. Yeah, I've had one of them tonight. He's not long just gone down himself, even though he was first in bed at 7 o'clock. Dirk saying hello. Al saying those models are great, by the way. They've cleaned up okay, mate, haven't they? I'm quite surprised just how well they've kind of cleaned up and stuff. Not too bad at all, mate. I'm happy with those. Peter Max in. Hello, Peter. Deep Red's clicked the like button. Thanks, buddy. Mark Corley's in. Tiberius is in. Chuff me, it's like Sarastro in here tonight. We've got 32 people watching. That's good for just a bit of a hobby hangout. I don't mind that. Tony's going to start painting with a spatula and fingers here. Seriously, I've seen what you've been up to, mate. That's looking awesome. Steve says fancy with his wet palette. Claudio's in. Hello, mate. He's doing his snow speeder now after he's finished his 80 RT and scrap astromech. Steve's on the Go Riders and his 6mm ogres. Wargaming Dad, the best thing about Hero Quest is I like the tiny furniture. Nice quote. Hello, Wargaming Dad. David Moffat says he used to prime with smelly primer. Apparently it wasn't a primer. And David says I've been playing around with milliput, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce that word. Tim says he's painting his City Def. He's going to finish them buggers tonight, and even if I have to go to bed at 4 o'clock. If you're still there at 4, mate, who knows? I might still be here at 4. Yeah, Wargaming Dad says that Poundland undercoat stinks. that's the reason I don't use it. I don't care how cheap it is. It smells forever. It never seems to kind of die away, that smell properly. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just crack on and we'll make a start, because otherwise I'll just be sitting chatting to you lot all night. So in the spirit of going old school, I'm actually going to use some old school paints as well that I had around. So I'm going to start with this, which is a very old. Has it got a year on it? No, it hasn't got a year on it, I don't think. No, but it's been around for a while. But to be fair, I always store them upside down like that. So basically the paint seals around the lid, so it never gets any air in them. And it seems to have kept them pretty well. I used to store them upside down just so I could see the colours, to be fair, but it seems to have kept them well over the years. So, Voltermans is saying there, I got a notification at 8:30, but when I looked for it on the channel page, nothing was there. Yeah, there's something bloody weird going on, mate, that's for sure. But hey, I'm sure the world's got more important things to worry about than my videos at the minute. So, let's get some paint onto the wet palette. I appreciate this is all happening off camera, so you won't be seeing any of this at the minute. So we'll get a little bit of water on there as well, because I actually thinned this down a little bit today just to kind of like free this up a little bit in the pot. So you don't need to see all the water stuff off the side of my place. I'm going to start with a size 2. I'm using Artist Opus brushes tonight. I've got a full set of these. So I've got the S series, which is the kind of like the signature ones. I've got the M series, which is the miniature painted ones. I think that one's an M series. So you can see those have a much shorter bristles on them. Oops. So you can see that the M series have much shorter bristles. And I also have, I do also have the dry brush ones as well. I'll show you some of those just out of interest. And that's the Series D ones with these nice kind of domed dry brushes. Yeah, I also have like things like cheap pound makeup brushes as well for dry brushing, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm going to try tonight and try and just stick to some old school methods. So, who we got? We got Kentucky Fried Gamers in as well. Howdy, howdy, hello to you. Peter says the Orc Mini was the one he used as his Gobble War Boss. Putting a goblin head on the Orc body, my first kit bash. Wow, but that takes you back, mate. Deep Red says didn't get a notification. Yeah, I don't. It's popped through on my phone as a notification, but I don't know what the hell's going on at the minute. Like I say. So yeah, let's get some paint on here. We've been going 15 minutes nearly. We haven't even started any paint on. So yeah, I've also marked out. You won't be able to see, but I've marked like tape around on here. So I know as long as I'm within those taped areas, it should be good to go. So I was going to say a shout up if you think I'm keep moving off camera, but I ain't going to hear you anyway, am I? So yeah, I'm just starting with this old school Dark Angels green. I'm just going to get that onto the skin areas. Sometimes I work like sort of from the center out over. Sometimes I'll just kind of pick an area that I want to focus on, I want to start on. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll also kind of focus on the skin areas, the things where I think it needs to kind of look right, like you know that faces, bases, and banners kind of thing, where that's what people kind of focus on when you see a miniature. So sometimes I'll focus on the face and try and get the face right, really, before I move on and do anything else, just in case I've got to do any updates and stuff like that. So also, folks, just let me know if the stream seems okay. Is the quality of the picture okay with this camera on and stuff? It's got an auto focus on it, so it should be fine. Like if I come back up there, you should see that it'll focus in and stuff. So the focusing should be okay with this one. The difference with the main camera is that one's like a fixed focus because of this. When you feed it into the computer, it actually shows up the little kind of, when you're on the camera screen, when you're looking through it from the back and it has the little, like the focus point, that shows up on the screen. So you have to turn the focus off to allow it to disappear. So what I have to do is I have to kind of sit here, either get my phone with the app on it and like turn the focus off with the phone, or my wife comes and flicks the manual switch on the side while I'm sitting staring at the camera. So there's some behind the scenes notifications there for you. So what's everybody else up to tonight? Let's have a look. Where was that? We've got Zach Matthews in as well. So he's got a box full of Titanicus that needs painting. So this might be the inspiration to start. Yeah, I mean we've got 40 people, which is absolutely amazing. I never expected to get these kind of numbers in for just me sitting watching me painting old minis and stuff. But the idea is really it's just if it gives me a bit of motivation to kind of sit and paint something, you know, it's like sitting. Even just think of it as a little bit of company while you're sitting painting. Like I'll try and find things to talk about, even though I've not left the house in nearly 2 weeks. But yeah, like we'll be able to sit and kind of just hang out. Imagine like listening to a podcast that you can ask questions to and stuff. So if anybody does have any questions tonight or anything, maybe I'm doing things slightly different to how you do them. Maybe you're wondering why I do them a certain way, or if you just want to ask anything, ask about without sounding kind of sort of Billy Big Bollocks. Like if you want to know anything about me or the channel or YouTube or games or anything like that, just ask away. It gives me something to chat about. If you're thinking about why I have these high quality paint handles, I just get used to using certain stuff, and I do want to try one of those red grass games holders. I've been watching a few people who use those ones, and I was watching a painting video today, which was Angel Heraldez, where he painted one of those Warcry. Is it the Ogroid? I think it is. He painted one in like 90 minutes from scratch, and it was absolutely unbelievable, the finish and the time. Yeah, it was good to see it. But yeah, he uses one, and the way he was kind of just like spinning it around, kind of how I'm twisting that, I suppose. But just it just looked quite comfortable, so I wouldn't mind giving one of those a try. And so I've got the cheap version of the red grass stuff. I've got a cork and I've got a Tupperware lid. Yeah, but it just shows that like you don't have to spend a fortune on bits and pieces when you're first starting out, especially. People get like it's dead easy to get caught up in the hobby, especially painting, because I think it's one of those things where I think we forget, you know, we talk about the cost of models and stuff like that. We forget how much paints cost. Like I think when I did a video a little while ago, it might have been when I painted the Bone Reapers, I was kind of pricing up how much if you've never painted before, how many paints did I use, and how much would it have cost you to kind of just go from scratch and buy all those paints. And actually, it was a little bit embarrassing, really, how many paints there was. But you kind of forget that bit. If you're into the hobby and stuff, you kind of get caught up in just buying a couple of quid's paints here and there kind of things. But yeah, you forget that it's not cheap to get started in miniature painting. And then obviously the cost of brushes and stuff like that. People think you have to buy the best brushes. I would honestly say that my painting, the quality of my painting took a bit of a leap when I started buying better quality brushes. However, I think I'd got the basics down with cheap stuff. There's no point in wrecking expensive brushes when you're first learning and stuff. But as long as you look after them, expensive brushes will last as well. So, yeah. So a quick look at some of these chats here. Anna's saying there's an issue with YouTube at the moment with recommended videos. I'm being recommended stuff I've never heard of, let alone watched. Yeah, I got recommended. What was it? Was it makeup videos or something? Was like on the bottom of it. I was watching. What video was I watching? It was like who was it? It might have been, you know, Michael, who does the MTG and more stuff. He was basically doing some stuff today. He'd been getting a resin 3D printer, and I was watching that today. And when I looked below the video, like in the recommended list was like, is it somebody Charles? Like some I'm saying guy, you can't assume stuff these days, but like sort of some person who does makeup tutorials and stuff like that. Yeah, there's some real random mix of stuff. Like I thought a lot of my feed was getting messed up because my little boy's been watching a bit of YouTube the last few days, so he's been watching like I've been bringing them to the joys of Banana Man and Big Cook, Little Cook, and some random stuff because I'm sick of watching all these kind of like YouTube kids that he normally watches, like with these toy unboxings. So we've been watching some classic kind of cartoons and kid shows and stuff together. So I thought it was that was messing with my YouTube algorithm. Peter saying he started with his Conquest, supplied power, generator, and a very weak black to fill the gaps left by primer spray. Yeah, Wargame and Dad. Oh, I just jumped off the top of my screen there. Where are we gone? Wargame and Dad. So he got the notification. Kentucky Fried Gamer says, makes me want to get all my Hero Quest minis out and paint them. That's exactly what I've done, mate. I'm gonna try and make a video of this, like sort of, not like a painting tutorial if you like, but just a bit of a, almost like a mini documentary really, of just like how it's the game that's kind of started me on this journey, and where it's kind of led to, and all that kind of stuff really. And like I say, like a mini kind of documentary, and throughout that, like obviously a lot of the kind of B-roll stuff, and that'll just be me gradually taking this from its original condition to like a fully painted set. And then I stand by what I said as well. At some point, when this is all finished and painted, when I get to 100 Patreons, I'm going to give this fully painted set away to one of those Patreons. And it's twofold really. One is, it's a bit of marketing to try and generate, you know, around my Patreon account and stuff. Obviously, you folks all know, and a lot of you in the chat are Patreons as well, and I thank you for that. But you all know this is about to become my full-time job. I can't. I've got some things happening at work that I need to kind of let run their course in the next few days before I can kind of officially announce anything. But I'm sure reading between the lines, you know what that means. So that's basically Patreon is going to become my income soon. So yeah, so I figure it's a good way to kind of generate a little bit of interest, maybe make people aware of it, or anyone that's on the fence about maybe supporting what I do. It might just be enough to kind of tip them over the edge. And also, it's also to kind of say a big thank you really as well. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here kind of painting these things on stream if it wasn't for kind of the growth of the YouTube channel and the support from Patreons really. So it's to kind of get to give back to those as well. And like my Hero Quest box set, yeah, it's got loads of good memories, but the memories are of me sitting kind of playing it when I was a kid with my sister. And I'll always have those memories. I don't need the actual set to remember that, if you like. And it's sat in shelves and in garages and in lofts and stuff over the years, 30 odd years worth of sitting there doing nothing. So it's not like I'm going to miss it, like miss playing it or something like that. So yeah, so that's the plan. So yeah, I'm gonna crack through these. I'll probably do about 2 or 3, just batch painting a little bit, just to kind of get some paint on the let the ones dry while I'm cracking on. Otherwise, I'll have to get a hairdryer out, and then you'll hear that blasting away while I'm doing it. Where we are now. David said he received the 30-minute notification and the live notification. YouTube knows I'm committed. Thank you very much, YouTube, for letting David know. Andrew Fairbanks says, I got both, and then the stream took a bit to load. Oh, weird. Yeah, to be honest, when I was testing it out earlier on, it was saying that YouTube Live wasn't available. So I was thinking I was going to have to cancel this, but then it seemed to kind of settle itself down. I know I've read kind of in the news and stuff that they've obviously got a lot more, sort of the bandwidths are going a bit nuts at the minute as all these people are basically stuck indoors and like watching more YouTube and watching more Netflix and stuff. I don't know whether that's having an impact as well, whether it's screwing things up or if it's just if YouTube are in the middle of doing a bit of an overhaul at the minute. I did get a notification the other day to say that basically I can self-certify my videos now to say that they're safe to watch. I don't know if that's just something that you get when you've been doing it for a while, or if it's something new or whatever. But John Francis in, he says, hey, what have I missed? Yeah, I've just had a very brief chat with the chat group there first of all, and then I'm just kind of making a start and rambling, mate. If you're interested why we're painting Hero Quest, I kind of very briefly touched on that, and why this particular model is because these are the ones that the Facebook group voted for. I realised after I did the Facebook poll that you can actually do a poll as well on YouTube as well. But not a lot of people kind of use the community stuff. There's community stuff on YouTube, and I don't think many people even know that it exists really. So I use it for the people that do know it exists. but I don't get like loads of interaction on there, which is why the Facebook group is up like almost, was it like 780 people or something now. So it's a nice kind of portion of the community, really, just to kind of to keep in touch with and tell people when the new videos are coming out, tell them what's happening in the world of me and the channel, I suppose. Artless Archer says, hello to you, by the way. He says, how many years has it taken you to get around to painting your Hero Quest minis? Well, apart from the kind of the first stab that I had when I first bought it when I was a kid, it's probably taken me about 30 years, mate, to get around to painting them. And this lockdown kind of thing, as I said before, I've been painting my dwarfs up for Kings of War for my slow grow campaign. I've actually run out of dwarfs, and I haven't ordered any new ones yet, which I need to do. And anybody that is in the slow grow Facebook group, you'll notice there's a 15% discount code for Mantic Games every month. And I was chatting with Rob today, and he's very kindly changed that to a 20% off code for April. So if anybody's looking to pick up any Mantic bits and pieces, there is a 20% off code. And if it can only be used on non-sale items. So anything that's discounted, you won't be able to use it on, but anything that's full price, you will then get 20% off that using this month's code. So please do check out the Kings of War, I think it's the BlackJack Legacy Kings of War Slow Grow campaign, the group in there, and you'll see all of the details in there as well. David says the autofocus on my Logitech 920 is maddening, and I can never get it dialed in to the degree I want manually. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, mate. I have the same things. It starts to kind of bounce around a little bit, doesn't it? Sometimes it'll sit there and then it'll kind of, it'll like fade in and out. I think it's not too bad if it's close, but the further away that the camera gets, so when you try to get quite a lot into the screen, the more frustrating it becomes. I used to use one as a top-down camera when I had the studio in the garage. And you can see, I think it's an unboxing I did of like the Mantic Giant or something like that, quite some time ago now. And it was bouncing around all over the place when I did that. But this one I've got above me is a Panasonic camcorder, and it's just got an HDMI out going into a like a what they call like an Elgato capture card in my PC. So I've got one of the capture cards, which is the kind of the built-in one, like a hard card, if you like, and then the other one is one of the, are they called cam links? I think they are. So the one that you can see my face on is through a cam link, and the two of them seem to work really well with the PC. So yeah, they're not cheap, but that's what things like Patreon's allowed me to get to this point, really, where I've kind of bought and paid for all of my kit now. That, you know, things like my little stream deck here as well, which allows me to switch between the different scenes when we're doing live streams. It's all kind of helped out to get me to where I am today, really. And then from here, onwards and upwards, as they say. Certainly going to have more time on my hands. And as me and my wife work out what our new kind of schedules are around childcare and stuff, as obviously like the little one's not at nursery at the moment because of the virus, we can start to kind of do these things. That's why live streaming tonight's perfect. It's like the little one's asleep. Me and my wife have sat and had dinner together, and then I can basically come on here and sit and chat with you a lot. Paul's Palmsy's in, so sorry he's late. He was cooking dinner, and I keep getting power cuts. Mate, it's not what you need, is it? Especially like at the time when you're stuck at home as well. You do not need to be getting power cuts. Claudio says, oh, what was this one? Al says, mate, I sat for an hour today live streaming and had 0 people. I wouldn't worry about viewers. To be honest, mate, I don't really worry about viewers these days. I used to worry about viewers a lot when I first started. I'll be honest, I was one of those people that I kind of checked my subscribers about 1 million times a day and, you know, kept refreshing to see if I had another subscriber and stuff, and was worried about how many people were viewing stuff. But these days, I've kind of realised that I'm not in this to be a YouTuber, if you like. I'm not defined by kind of how many subscribers I have or how many views I get. I'm in this really to build a community, really, and YouTube just happens to be the tool that I'm using to kind of interact with people. So whilst I'm kind of like sort of hugely fortunate that YouTube exists and it's a free service and I can kind of come to you and through the medium of video, if you like. It's like I'm not going to be like a famous YouTuber kind of thing. I'm never going to be one of these people that gets like 100,000 subscribers and stuff. What I'm really looking for is kind of is a really warm and friendly community, which I think we have, and then a portion of that community that kind of support and like love what I do, and basically help me on Patreon to make it a sustainable full-time job. And that's kind of exactly where I am. So it doesn't matter if I have 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. If you know, I might only need 100 people to support me to make this kind of financially stable for the future. So I'm at like 52, I think it is at the minute, and that's been enough to kind of for me to make the jump. But I think obviously it needs to grow over time. But yeah, but I always knew at some point I had to create the extra time to put out more content, which would then convince more people to kind of support and to help what I'm doing, really. So they always had to be that break point. And around 50 kind of Patreons was that point where it was like, right, it's, you know, it's kind of, it's enough that I can make that switch now. So yeah, I ain't really worried about the numbers of viewers. If I was getting 0 viewers and no community kind of involvement, then I'd be worried. But yeah, I'll be sitting here whether I've got 1 viewer or whether I've got 100 viewers, if you like. To be honest, when I see some of the live streams that some other folks do, like the Games Workshop one at the weekend for their kind of announcement stuff, there was like 40,000 people on that live stream, and the comment section was an absolute cesspit. It was awful. And then I look at things like Uncle Adam, what he does with his tabletop minion stuff, and he has his live streams every other Sunday, I think he has them, and he has like 500 people in the chat and stuff, and I just think like the chat moves too fast to be able to keep up and to be able to interact. I actually quite like it not being sort of too busy, because it means I get to know each person. I get to know who the people are. I get to know the projects you're working on and stuff. So for me, if I could kind of keep the chats at about 100, and I kind of over time get up to about 100 Patreons, something like that. Subscribers and views were irrelevant at that point. I'm basically doing these live streams for that audience, really. So yeah, it's all good, mate. And when I first started out, I was lucky if I was getting 1 viewer. So you got to start somewhere, buddy. You got to start somewhere. It's hard. It's hard streaming when there's nobody watching, because you still have to like stream. You still have to talk to the camera like I'm doing now. You still have to do that when there's nobody there, because when somebody does like click on it, they don't want to kind of like, they don't want that dead silence for you to go, oh, there's somebody there kind of thing. They want to feel like they're just dropping into a stream, really. Busey saying, what's your honest opinion on those AO brushes? Honest opinion, mate. I actually really like them, if I'm honest. I used to buy Winsor & Newton's Series 7s, and I've always liked those. I like that. I tend to get the miniature ones, which have the shorter hairs, the shorter bristles. But then I got these ones, and they're good as long as you look after them. You do get like this kind of like soap, like brush soap and stuff you can buy. I would recommend obviously buying it and using it. They are a little bit more pricey than kind of some other brands, but they've kept really nice. They've always, if I've looked after them, they've always gone back to shape, really. So I'm quite happy with them. I've not bought anything else since I've bought these. I've got some like, I haven't used a lot of the dry brush ones yet, because I don't in general do a lot of dry brushing, to be fair. But yeah, I like them. Honest opinion is I like them. Would I say they were worth the money? It's hard, because I would say yes. I think as long as you look after them, I think they're worth the money. David saying, what's Al Krabby's channel? Al is Krabby. Is it Krabby Vision? I think it is making it, and it's on Instagram. So Al started doing some Instagram stuff. At some point, Al and I need to do a live stream together as well. We need to get our shit together, mate, and sort something out. And I know it's kind of sitting with me. You said you'll do it anytime, so I just need to be pinned down. At the minute, my head's full of some work situations at the minute that I'm kind of dealing with, and and trying not to go insane with my 3-year-old, basically, because as much as I love him, it's a whole different ball game for me, having like all day, every day locked in the house with him, like to try and entertain him on his own. You know, like if I was being able to take him out to the park, you know, and kick a ball about, if I could take him to the swimming pool, if I could take him to soft play, we go out for ice cream or something, go out for lunch, go to the beach, all those kind of things, I think I'd be fine. But yeah, it's a bit of a shock to the system at the minute. But yeah, we'll get that together, mate. Where are we at as well? Claudio saying, why isn't this orc a proper Dead Zone marauder? I think I'll give Dead Zone a go soon, mate, actually. Tony's saying he's got the hairdryer at the moment going, a bit of a natural drying now. I'll say he'd like to know what I think of those brushes. It's been on my list for a while. If you do, and I am not giving you this opinion because of kind of my affiliate with Element Games, but if you do buy any and you buy them through my affiliate link in Element Games, there is a link with, I think, basically the owner of Element Games is also a co-owner of Artist Opus brushes. So basically the commission that I make from any Element Games links, I think I get a little bit of an extra bonus, I think, if there's any sales of Artist Opus brushes. But that I'm not saying nice things about them for that reason. I use them. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I didn't like them, I wouldn't use them. These are minis. They're almost like a labour of love. These minis. They're things I've been wanting to paint like for years. And if I thought the brushes were garbage, I certainly wouldn't be using them on painting these today. So hopefully, by the fact I'm using them, kind of tells you that I'm happy with them. And I noticed today as well when I was watching that Angel Geralda's video, he uses them too as well. So if they're good enough for him, they're good enough for me. Tiberius says, I paint an Angel guy, except he's good, he knows what he's doing. Tony says, he's painting the last of his birds and badges stuff as well. Says the red grass handles are really good, much better than the GW ones. I've got one of the GW ones, and I don't like it at all. I use it now and again to hold something when I'm, maybe it's when I'm priming or something like that. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of them myself. They just seem to get in the way. I like the fact I can kind of turn this, I can get all the way around the mini, around the base and stuff. Richard said the live stream on Monday got me thinking about picking up The Walking Dead while it's half price. Fancy chatting about that? Yeah, I mean, anybody that's kind of seen my stuff in the past, you'll know that my channel started with The Walking Dead. So I backed the Kickstarter. I was a big fan of the comic books. And so I backed the Kickstarter. My first ever video was an unboxing of the Kickstarter Walking Dead stuff. And then I did building a table, and I did some how to play videos, and I built some tents, and I've done some how to paint the walkers videos and all that kind of stuff. And that was where this channel started, really. It was always going to be a channel that did lots of different games and stuff, but it was just that's what kind of got me started, really. But I love the game. I'm a big fan of it. It's the fact that you can play it solo, and for me the solo game works really, really well. It doesn't feel like it's tacked on, and that it's like a bad AI that's kind of just being used, because really the walkers in the 2-player version of the game are all AI controlled as well. So it's like it's in there from the core rules. It's not just a bit of an afterthought or an add-on. The minis, single piece plastics, nice scale, good sculpts. I mean, I wouldn't say they're not the best minis in the world kind of thing. You know, they're not like GW quality sculpts. But for me, when Mantic released them, they were a huge step forward for Mantic. A lot of their models were made in house at the time. Before that, the resins and stuff, and I think that it was a real step on in quality for Mantic at that point. They've come a long way since then, and the newest ones are resin as well, actually, because they make them in house again. But the sculptor for Mantic does some really, really good stuff. And like we're coming up to Wave 7's releasing soon. You've got the Call to Arms stuff, which is a little bit more kind of a bit more competitive play, if you like, a bit more player versus player. Whereas the main All Out War stuff, whilst it can be player versus player and it can be kind of competitive, for me it's much more of a narrative game. And it's a great way to play through the stories. So if you're interested in the TV series, like if that's where you kind of got started with Walking Dead, or if you're a fan of the graphic novels, which have now sadly ended, yeah, you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of the game. There's some really, really good mechanics. The way the walkers are controlled, the way the threat counter goes on. It's just a really fun, cool game, mate. Type B used to saying that's why I like the GW start painting sets for newbies. Yeah, I'd agree, mate, as well. Somebody saying it was like a slave to their Winsor and Newtons. Where are we at? Just jumped off the top of my screen somewhere. There we go. It was Artless Archer said he's a slave to his Series 7s. Yeah, that's what I first started painting with just GW brushes, because I think as you do, you think that that's all's available to use when you first start out and you don't know where else. I think I then picked up some Rosemary and Co. ones, and they were the first brushes that were like a much better quality. And then I thought as my painting got a little bit better, I thought I'd try another brush again, and I got the Winsor and Newton ones, and I seem to just stick with them. They held their points well. I know some people say they're a bit hit and miss, and you can get some bad Winsor and Newtons and stuff, but touch wood, I've always been pretty fortunate with them. And then I got these Artist Opus ones, and to be fair, I've not bought another brush since I started using these. So yeah. Zach says, would you recommend watering down all base paints, and do you find the more water, the more layers you need to put on? So mate, you need to water down your paints generally, depending upon what kind of paint you get, depends on how much water. So GW paints tend to be a little bit thicker and need a bit of water. If you get something like Vallejo stuff, they tend to be a little bit thinner and it might need a bit less water. And yes, the thinner you do it, the more layers you'll have to put on it to get an overall coverage. But you're not trying to put one really thick coat on. You should always be trying to kind of put a couple of thin coats or to get a better coverage, because what you don't want to do is put the paint on really thick and block in all of those fine details. In general, I tend to paint from the pot, but what I tend to do is I tend to kind of thin them down in the lid with some water. So I am thinning the paints down still, but I tend not to use like a palette or anything. But for these, I thought I would go all out and treat them nicely. But yeah, basically what you want to do is you want to have the paints thin enough that they flow nicely, but not so thin that basically it's almost running off the miniature. And it's just trial and error, and people say it should be like the consistency of milk, but I drink loads of milk. I love milk, and I've still got no idea what consistency it is. So yeah, I hope that helps, buddy. Richard says, can't decide between All Out War Starter or Haze Negan. I'm usually into war games, but trying to get the missus involved, so board game might be the way to go. Yeah, if you're into board games, Haze Negan is a good it's a good intro, and if especially seems it's cheap at the moment as well, because when it first came out, I think it was about 70 quid, which I think is probably a bit expensive if I'm honest. But it's good if you're picking it up for about £30 now, I think. If you're more into board games, I think it's a great way to get your other horse started. And the mechanics of the game are close enough that if she likes that, and you can convince her to give All Out War a try, it's familiar enough that she'll understand like the basics. And All Out War is I always say that it's probably, I think it's the best miniatures game for beginners. It just works really well, and the fact you can play it co-op as well against the AI walkers means that you're you're not like sort of, you're not up against each other from day one. You're kind of helping each other out, and you can play through those stories in a co-op manner as well. So yeah, if board games are more your thing, and your missus has absolutely no interest in miniatures games at the minute, I would maybe try and start off with Hayes Negan. And if you do get into it, the new compendium book that's coming out later this year has another set of not rules, like another mission, if you like, that lets you use the Hayes Negan prison tiles with Rick and some of the other characters from The Walking Dead. So you kind of, it's not kind of it's not like you play Hayes Negan and then you never play it again. You'll be able to use the miniatures in The Walking Dead, which I think are the Survivors they're called, and you'll also be able to use the tiles and stuff in some other scenarios. But yeah, it's good value. It like £30 or whatever it is. The Hayes Negan board game, it's fantastic value. At £70, it's maybe a bit pricey. Claudio saying last time he was in the UK, he bought a 3-pack of Element Games brushes and said it should go to Blackjack Legacy. I'm really happy with them. Thank you very much, buddy. That's really kind. I've got no idea if it ever did come to me, but it's very nice that you kind of that you said that. I really do appreciate that support. Mark says Army Painter Mega Sets are a great starting place. Yeah, they are, but I think the problem with the Army Painter Mega Sets is that if you don't know much about the hobby, the chances are you've probably got into it through Games Workshop. And so you like this is exactly what I did. So you've started buying Games Workshop paints, and I think what you do is you get caught up in just like building one range of paints. It's not until you've been painting for years you realise actually that some manufacturers, like for example the P3 whites are absolutely fantastic, and some of the Vallejo metallics are really good. And you realise that you don't need to have the full range of one particular set. But I remember buying like a Games Workshop Mega Set one Christmas. Can't remember how much it cost, but it was quite pricey. It came in one of those hard cases, like their model cases and stuff, and I had the entire range of paints. And then what I've done over the years is I've just kept buying Citadel paints and replacing ones that wear out. So I kind of got locked into it. So whilst I agree the Army Painter sets are great, it's almost one of those things that if you're just starting out, you might not even realise they exist. So, and I'm not sure I would suggest buying a mega set if you're just starting out. I think it's a lot of paints and it's a lot of expense. Get used to using your basic colours and mixing and stuff, I suppose. Unless you're painting an army or something like that. But where are we? Ty Boost is saying everyone gets recommended a conspiracy video that says Stevie Wonder isn't blind. Do you know what it is? I saw that the other day. There was a picture of him taking a photograph of someone. So do you know what it is? Maybe it's just that time it's come back around. It's kind of like broken a bit of a dream that I thought I'd imagine seeing that recommendation. Al Krabby says I'd recommend Rosemary & Co. Very good for the price. Yeah, I would agree as well, mate. They are really good value. They are really good value. Gaz is saying the Opus brushes are awesome. I have the S set and will definitely invest in the others. Yeah, I've got, like I see, I've got the S set. They were the first ones I got, as they were the first ones that came out. But because I always painted with Winsor & Newton miniatures, it took some getting used to the longer bristles, if you like. So when the miniature ones came out, I decided to pick up a set of them. But now what I'm finding is I'm using those S1s more often now, just because they hold more paint. As you can see here, kind of like how often I'm going back to or not how often I'm going back to the wet palette to pick up more paint. They just seem to hold more paint in general. So yeah, they're not too bad at all. Well, folks, I know I'm miles behind in the chat, so I apologise if you've asked a question I haven't got to it yet. But it is giving me loads to talk about. So if you're just popping into the chat every now and again while you're sitting painting and dropping in a comment and stuff, I definitely will get to the comments. As for times for tonight, I mean, I normally do like an hour and a half live stream on a Monday, but I thought I'd start a half an hour earlier tonight just to see how it goes. But if people are enjoying it, I'm quite happy to kind of sit and paint, really. I mean, I said I was only going to paint a few of these. I'm sure it's not that interesting for you to be watching, but I guess most of you are not really watching. I guess most of you are actually just sitting in the background, just listening to the chat while you're painting your own stuff. So I might as well paint these as I would do, really. I'll batch paint these, all the skin on these ones, I think, and then we'll get onto them, because I'm just enjoying just painting, to be fair. It's like just hanging out with, it's, because painting can be quite a kind of a solitary pastime, really, and I know we're all kind of locked up at the minute, and probably the last thing you want is to be kind of sitting on your own at the minute. So it's just having a little painting group, just kind of hanging out together. And if people are enjoying these, I mean, we've got 45 people in the chat. It's not really kind of dropped too much or gone up too much. So if people are enjoying them, we can do them more often. Because, like I say, it's not like I've got my hands full with lots of other stuff to do in an evening at the minute. Bearing in mind the world's on shutdown. Let's scroll up a bit. Got Craig McCartney. Hello, Craig. How are you doing, mate? He says he started painting the Advanced Hero Quest paint set. Some of the paints from that set are still usable. I didn't even know that they did a paint set for that, mate, actually. Wow, interesting. Yeah, that Dark Angels green that I was using earlier on, that must be from the... in fact, that's definitely from the paint set that I'm talking about. The original sort of GW paint set I had. And that must be from... trying to think. It's got to be about 15, 16 years ago I picked up that paint set. Because I keep thinking that I didn't really... I didn't really get into gaming and painting and stuff until much later. Like I wasn't really into it as a kid that much. I had the Hero Quest set, obviously, as I'm sitting painting now, but I never did get into 40k or any of that stuff. But then when I think I got into it like much later, still talking like 15, 16 years ago. So yeah, I'm still a bit of an old hand really now these days. Not as much as some people. I'm sure people like Tiberius in the chat there has been in and around the hobby for a number of years, even though he's younger than me. And I know people like Tony and Peter. I'm sure they won't mind me saying they're older than me, but they have years of experience in the hobby as well. Yeah, it's surprising how well some of them older paints hold up. I've got paints from GW that I bought like a year ago and they don't even hold up. Dirk saying, so ink is drying, what to do now while waiting? Get a hairdryer, mate. Get a hairdryer. Speed it up. Skullmunch is in as well. So he's putting together some of these Mortal Realms minis. Tim's saying he's asking what Burrows and Badgers minis people are painting. I know there's quite a few Burrows and Badgers painters in tonight. It's nice to see that game getting a bit of love. Thank you to Tim for kind of putting it on my radar by sending me some stuff for a birthday gift. Mine are actually, I have to admit, Tim, mine are half painted at the minute. I've been using them as a bit of a palette cleanser while I've been doing my Kings of War army, and just like when I've been burning out on dwarfs for a while, I've been going over and painting one of those. But what I'll do is when they're all finished, I'll get the picture up in the Facebook group and stuff and show everybody what I've been doing. But I don't want to kind of just show them half finished at the minute, if you like. Where we at? Al says you'll have to give it a mug away at 1,000 Facebook group members. I definitely will. I mean, my Facebook group hasn't grown as fast as some other Facebook groups. However, it's kind of intentional. I do. This sounds awful, but I kind of vet everybody that wants to join the group, because I get a lot of spam things coming in. I get a lot of people who just want to kind of come in and just share their stuff and not contribute. I get a lot of people that think I actually play BlackJack, and people asking me for kind of what's the best online gambling sites and stuff like that for the countries that don't allow online gambling. So there's only me runs the Facebook group. I go in and accept or decline every single application that comes in. I could just let loads through and get the numbers up, but that's not what it's about. And the Facebook group's a fantastic place. It's just, I mean, you folks know because you're probably all in it, but it's just a fantastic place where people are really, really welcoming, really helpful, all sharing what they're up to. I took a little bit of flack a while ago when I stopped people sharing all of their videos and stuff, but I I think it was worth that short-term grief that I got, because I think the group's in a far better place because of it. It's just, it doesn't become a wall of YouTube posts and YouTube links. It's actually a wall of some fantastically painted miniatures and people asking for advice, and people just generally being nice to each other. So, just zoned out there while I was painting around these tusks. I'll scroll down a little bit. Thanks for the sharing that link to the Kings of War group, Christian. Thank you. David says the slow grow YouTube challenge because camera stuff ain't cheap. I tell you what, mate, it's not cheap. I've been really fortunate that I've had a decent job. My wife's got a decent job as well. So when it came to things like sort of saving up for bits and pieces, I've been able to save up for stuff. I've got like the first ever camera I got, which is the one. Well, I had a GoPro camera for my first few videos, and I was using I was just kind of speaking into that, and the sound wasn't great. And then I bought a lapel mic, which I then kind of linked into the GoPro. And then I think that might have been the start of November. It was my birthday at the end of November. Oh no, and it was that first Christmas, sorry. And my wife bought me this camcorder for Christmas gift. So that was the first decent camera that I had. And then over time, I think like a couple of years ago, I used my work's annual bonus to buy the DSLR that's over there. And then obviously from that point onwards, Patreons have helped me buying like things like lights and millions of different types of cables and audio equipment and better microphones and all that kind of stuff. It's not perfect, but it never will be perfect. Nobody, unless you're spending absolutely big bucks, you're never going to get the perfect kind of setup and stuff. But this is as perfect as I want it to be, really. Anything I spend now is kind of wasted money on stuff. I'm just buying something nicer. It's not going to give me any more viewers. It's not going to make you hear me any more clearly, that kind of stuff. But some things are worth spending extra money on. Some things are worth doing on the cheap. Where are we at? Deep Red says apparently next up from YouTube is P with Joe. Yeah, bloody hell, that kid's doing well, isn't he? Artless Archer says, I'm from the Northeast too. Outstanding accent, sir. Thank you very much. Is that back to 9 o'clock? Oh, I'm forgetting I started late. I was thinking, God, I'm only 1 minute into the chat there. I'm actually half an hour behind in the chat. I'm miles back. Scott Longworth says he's at work, so he's just dropped in to say hi. Got to make a toilet roll. Hello, Scott. How are you doing, fella? I hope you're well. I hope you're working nice and hard. No doubt, mate, we'll catch up soon. We'll see each other at some point. Mark says you'll always have one viewer. Yeah, thanks, mate. Is that because I leave my computer on in the background just so I can check the quality of the stream, so that one viewer will be me? Mark was one of my original, probably from way back in the Walking Dead days. Mark's been viewing this channel right back from the start, so going back over 3 years ago now, and I'm fortunate I've managed to catch up with Mark a couple of times. So we met up at Salute a few years ago and had a good wander around Salute together. And I think Mark actually bought The Walking Dead while we were at Salute then. And we've also kind of crossed paths a couple of times at Mantic Games as well when there's been an open day there and we've both been down. And that's one of the things I like about having like a bit of a smaller, tight-knit community, if you like. It means I get a chance to actually get to know people, because at the end of the day, I started doing this YouTube stuff because I wanted to kind of find a community I could be part of. I didn't get a chance to go to kind of a local gaming group. I had a young son. So my son Jackson, who's 4 this year, he had literally just been born weeks beforehand when I started this. So I wasn't getting out to go. I travelled quite a lot with my job as well. So I couldn't commit to going to kind of games nights or taking part in campaigns or any of that kind of stuff. But what I could commit to was kind of carrying my camera around with me and doing YouTube videos and sharing like what I was painting and things. So it started off just to kind of grow a community, really, just so that I could be part of a community, an online community. So the bit I never really want to kind of lose sight of is that's what this was always about. Like, I'm not going to suddenly just kind of turn my back on everybody and go, oh, like, right, next stop with 100,000 subscribers. Like, I don't care what my viewers think kind of anymore. I just want to hit the big numbers. Because I know there's loads of stuff I could do that would drive my numbers up, but I'm either not interested in it, or I know the community's not interested in it. So I'm happy with how things are. But yeah, Mark's just an example there. People like Christian. I've met Christian a few times when he's been to the Weekender and stuff, and we've caught up with and people like Skullmunch and Ruth. People meeting up with them at the Weekenders and at UK Games Expo. It's just so nice to actually meet people face to face. And whilst it's always a little bit weird for me because you always like kind of know who I am straight away. And I have to. It takes me a little while to kind of like, oh, like who are you? Like that kind of stuff, which is a bit embarrassing. I always feel really bad when it's like, I don't know who you are yet because I've not seen your faces, but you've obviously seen mine. Once you get over that little kind of bit of awkwardness, it's awesome. It's making friends, and that's exactly what this has always been about for me. So yeah, you know, I'm happy to kind of keep it relatively small, as long as I said before, this is a big. To be my career, to be my job has always been like, it's always been my aim after I'd been I think it was probably after I'd been doing this for a couple of years, I realised just how much I enjoyed doing this and how much I loved it. And I thought, you know, if I could ever get to a point where somehow I can work out how to make enough money from this that it could be my full-time job, I would love it to be. It would be like a dream come true kind of thing. So to be in the position I am now, it's like, it honestly is like a dream come true. So. And it's all thanks to you lot. And I'll never ever forget that. Never forget where you come from and who put you there kind of thing. Tony saying, what colour are you using for the orc skin? This is a very, very old Dark Angels green, mate. I think I showed it early on in the stream. This really old Dark Angels green. But it's got a really nice coverage. Because I probably won't bother doing a second coat with this because I'm going to start to lighten it up anyway with some other greens and stuff. But yeah, so I probably won't give it a second coat if I'm honest. I just like how it's drying. Fighting Mammals, if I can manage to spray them inside, I might join you painting Hero Quest next time. Definitely. Definitely, that would be nice, Ruth. I didn't even know you were in the chat there. Nice to see you, love. How are you doing? Hope you're keeping well, and I hope your isolation with your with all of your online 5 mates is going well as well. I've seen your Instagram stuff popping up. Steve says he's using the AO brush himself. He got in a swag bag at an event I went to. Pretty nice to use. Yeah, I think it might have been my event, mate. Was it? I think we were giving away AO brushes. I think the last time. I think. Or we're giving army painter brush, so I forget now. Deep Red said another good paint and chat is Rocky's War Room. Yeah, I've chatted with Rocky a few times actually. He's a nice guy. Doug does some good stuff as well on 2 Plus Tough. I'll say no worries, mate. I'm ready when you are. Bloody hell, mate. I really am quite far back in the chat. Let me scroll down a little bit and see where we're up to. Do I need to? I'll jump forward a little bit. I apologise if I've missed some of your comments. Claudia saying, how many of your videos is Lou watching? She sometimes tunes in, like when she's working, when she's been working away and stuff. Sometimes she'll kind of watch. So if she's away on a Monday, yes, I am a brush licker, by the way. If she's away on a Monday, she might kind of tune in just to kind of like see what I'm up to and stuff. But probably making sure I'm keeping an eye on the little one, to be fair. So she might do that, but yeah, she doesn't really watch my stuff. She's not like interested in the painting side of things or the miniatures games in general. But she's interested that I'm interested, if you like. Who else we got? Daniel Engel says, hello everyone. How's it going now, Daniel? How are you doing, fellow? Nice to see you in the chat this evening. Next up, folks, I'm going to be using this Elysian green, and I'm going to be mixing this a little bit with that Dark Angels green as well to get some kind of like a mid-tone. I'll tell you what I'm actually going to do. I'm just going to put it on the camera there so you can see what I'm doing here as well. So a bit of water as well, just to thin that down. Marco was saying, sorry if I'm late, just finished working for today and painting an ad mech for Blackstone Fortress. Hello, Marco, how are you doing? There's another name of someone that I've met a couple of times as well, and nice to see you. Nice to see you in the chat, buddy. Yeah, Blackstone Fortress, mate. The stuff that you were painting really kind of got me thinking about buying that. So what you can see, folks, I'm just kind of pulling over some of that green, pushing it around a little bit, getting that bit of muck out of there, bit of water in there as well. We'll see how we go. See how we go with that. Right, where are we up to? VJ's in as well. Good morning, VJ. How are you doing, sir? I hope you're well, my friend. My friend from down under. Terry Bass is in as well, having a chat. It says, seeing the passion from the heart, I believe that this is in his heart, and keeping both Mr. and Mrs. BlackJack succeed is a great dream. Thank you for that. It's kind of nice to hear it. I always get a little bit I always feel awkward about trying to do the kind of like the sales pitch of like, you know, please support and Patreon and all that kind of stuff. But I hope people kind of see really that like this is all done from a point of kind of from passion really, and I've said before, people might be wondering like, well, why don't you just go and do a load of sponsored videos and stuff, like get your money that way? It doesn't really sit with me, right? I don't feel like I could. I don't feel you would trust my opinion, that I was giving you an honest opinion if I was being paid by a company to review their product. I know some channels do paid content. All power to them if it sits right with them. But for me personally, I'd rather if the community that trusted my opinion could kind of support me with, you know, like a couple of dollars a month or whatever, you know, like the price of a cup of coffee. It's not even a cup of coffee these days. But if you could support me with the price of a cup of coffee every month, and enough people do that it keeps me independent, then it means I can still review people's products if they want to send me something to review, but it's under the understanding that it is a genuine, honest opinion, and no money's changed hands. Like people say, oh, but you're getting free stuff and that. Like I can't pay the bills with free stuff. Like I can't review something if I haven't got it. So for me, that's part of the thing, really. You know, if they want me to review it, they're gonna have to send me the product. It's like if a restaurant wants me to if you want to review like restaurant food or a chef's food or something like that, you need to be able to taste it, kind of thing. And I'm always happy to send stuff back if it's just a loan for the kind of, you know, just to review it or whatever. But yeah, it essentially, back to the point, it kind of keeps me independent, really. So that's why I've gone down that route, really. And I hope people understand that. And to be fair, I hope people kind of get why I'm doing that. Like I say, not every channel does that. Some channels are quite happy to do paid content. Personally, I'm not sure how much I trust some of those channels, because I know there are certain channels who do a lot of paid content and then don't tell the viewers that it's paid content. I always find that a bit disingenuous. But yeah, each to their own, each to their own. So all I'm doing here, folks, I'm just kind of lightening this up a little bit. It might look a bit garish at the minute, but it'll all come together when it's tidied up. I promise. I'm just going to get some more of that Dark Angels green as well. I've missed painting under his chin there. I'll just do that while I'm on. And all I'm kind of doing is I'm just trying to get like from the highlights down over, really. What have we got? Tiberius says 2003 to 2007. It was the hex pots with the flip lid. The bullet lids on the hex pots is 97 to 2003. So wow, these must be older, mate. Then, going back a bit now. Vijay says he's back from dropping off the wife. to chill and work in daycare. Mark's painting his Rat War brand. Daniel's watching from work. No work to be done. Everyone's playing video games. Tony says, coming up about 47 years in the hobby here. Wow, mate. That's commitment for you. Steve Evans, I forgot you were in the chat there, Steve, as well. Yeah, Steve's a lot more experienced in this than I am as well. What was that, 41 years as well. Tom Ryan's in as well. Nice to see you, Tom. Let me just get some paint on here before I crack on. VG saying that's a problem with so many of the old GW sculpts, even some of the new ones, where exactly things stop and start. Yeah, you know what I mean, don't you? Around these areas here, you almost have to paint them in and assume that you're getting it right. Robert Marshall's there as well, saying he's got his iron jaws on the table. I'll scroll. Tim said it was good fun bumping into you at UK Games Expo. Tried out the contrast paints together. Yeah, I remember, mate. It was really nice. Didn't we meet really briefly prior to that as well? I think we kind of met in passing. Was it the year before UK Games Expo as well? I think we met really briefly. But yeah, we sat together and tried out the contrast paints. It's really cool just sitting having a natter and just we're all in this for the same reasons. We all like love the hobby, whether it's we love painting or we love playing or we love collecting or whatever it is. We're all in this for the same reasons, really. We all just like to be part of a community, and this community does. I say this, I mean like gaming in general. It attracts its fair share of kind of like solo people, if you like what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Not like people who prefer to kind of the word vulnerable keeps coming in my head, but it's not that one. Like it's people who like prefer introvert. That's the one I'm looking for. It attracts kind of a lot of introverted people and stuff, and people who are quite deep thinkers, I think, as well, and I think that's a symptom of kind of artistic or creative people. They tend to kind of really sometimes overthink things. So having a supportive community where people can bounce ideas off each other and feel supported, I think is huge, and it's huge for me as well. And I've mentioned this. I think it was Tony I was telling this to the other day. Is that basically like the job I had a lot of travel. I was always in meetings and stuff like that. And like whilst I didn't enjoy it in the slightest, I did kind of have a lot of interaction with people. I ran quite a big team. I interacted with a lot of people, sort of had to do presentations in front of big groups of people. So it wasn't like I was shy or anything, but like it's, I'm gonna miss that basically for the fact that I need to try and set myself up with some kind of social network. Really, I don't have like a big group of mates or anything like that. It's not like I'm out drinking every Friday night and stuff like that. So yeah, I need to get my own kind of social circle set up now, really. VJ saying homemade wet palette for the win. Yes, 100%. Right, that's just jumped massively down the line. So let's. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll forward a little bit where we're at. George is in as well. Hello, George. How are you doing? He says that's not old. It's not a cylindrical pot. No, I don't. I think the hex pots were the first ones I got, I think. Daniel says Goblin's looking good. Looking forward to going home to paint tonight. Yes, Daniel. It's nice just to kind of wrap up, isn't it, and head off home. And I got into painting when my twin boys were really, really young. It was just a nice way to wind down at the end of the day. Tiberius is saying smash the F out of that bell icon. I don't tend to swear on the channel much, do I? Bloggy's in as well. He says, hey guys and girls, it's a little late. I'm setting things up here for a future venture. Well, I hope that, mate. I hope that works out for you. Peter says before cylindrical pots were round pots. God, you guys are going back somewhere now. VJ is saying, always wondered how much paid content Ash at GMG does. I have heard, and I could be completely wrong, but I have heard from some companies that Ash does not do paid content. Now, I don't know if that's the case for every company. Maybe some he does, but he is massively supported by his Patreons as well. And a lot of what he does, I guess, has inspired me to do a lot of what I'm kind of doing. So I think Ash doesn't do paid content, but that's just I don't know for certain. Ash has not told me that, if you like. He will obviously get all the Games Workshop stuff for free because he'll be on their kind of like their content kind of creator program, where once you've got 10,000 subscribers, you're eligible to kind of sign up for it. And essentially, if you're one of their chosen few, then they'll send you out the stuff early to review and what have you. So he's definitely kind of on that, the same way Uncle Atom is with Tabletop Minions. He gets that stuff. There are other channels as well who get stuff early. And to be honest, if you're one of those channels that kind of relies on the views and things, getting stuff early from Games Workshop is huge. That's what drives a lot of content. And I know they have the embargoes on stuff, but like, so you can't release your content until such and such a date or whatever it is, but it drives a lot of views. Like, why bother coming to see my channel of what I think about Warcry when Ash Barker, for example's already told you all the information a week ago? So if I have to, like, and not only has he told you a week ago, he's had a chance to build it, to paint it, to play it, before I've even had a chance to unbox mine. So it certainly helps those channels out, which is why having an unbiased opinion is worth more to me than being paid to do these videos, because people will at least then always know that my opinion is my opinion, and it's not based upon how much X company paid me to review their product. Where are we at? George is saying independent review is the way to stay. Yeah, it's not like it's not like I review like lots of stuff, but like I as I'm doing this full time, it becomes my full time job. I need to up my content output, otherwise otherwise I'm not really doing it full time. I'm just doing a Monday night live stream again. I need to up the output, and in order to up the output, I need more things to talk about. So I will be contacting companies to get, to build a relationship up with them and stuff, so that they can send me stuff for review and that. But I'm not expecting to be paid for it. And if I start getting paid for it, then all of a sudden my wages are based upon maintaining that relationship with that company. And it's like any business. Then you don't basically piss off the people that pay the bills. And if that's the way that it needs to be, then I'd rather be in a situation where the people I'm not pissing off, if you like, are my viewers, my audience. I don't want to feel like kind of I have to say something nice. Let's use night models, because I've never done anything with night models in the past. Let's just say I don't want to feel like I've got to say nice things about night models, just because without that money, it's like I don't pay the bills this month kind of thing. So yeah, I will continue to stay independent, and if financially it doesn't work out, if I can't get enough support over time, then I'll have to go and get another job. That's just how it works, kind of thing. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic to be in a position where I'm going to be given the chance to give it a try, and that's the important thing. Most people never get the opportunity to even give it a try, and that's why this is huge for me. It's kind of up to me from this point onwards. If it doesn't work out, it won't be because I haven't tried. Let me just paint some more of that Dark Angel green into here as well, because I seem to have missed a bit there. And that silence there probably felt like forever. What's this? Christian saying Hermit's weirdos, freaks, BlackJack. That was what I couldn't remember the word I was looking for. I can't believe the word I was looking for was just introvert. I can't believe that's what it was. Yeah, and not only does it kind of attract a lot of introverts, it also kind of there's quite high proportions of kind of like mental health issues as well. and I'm not immune from it. I've kind of suffered from my own kind of mental health kind of problems and stuff over time. Not particularly serious. I'm not kind of like making light of anything or anything like that, or kind of saying like woe is me and stuff. I've had some issues over the last kind of 18 months and stuff that completely blindsided me. I never thought I was the kind of person that would suffer from that kind of stuff, and it opened my eyes to a lot of it, to the point where I understand that there isn't a type. That's the whole thing. It's not like people are weak, or it's not like sort of like a certain type of person, or people with no friends, or like, all the kind of stereotypes. There is no type. Mental health stuff just kind of creeps up on anybody really, and sometimes it just gets you when you're at a low point and things get on top of you and stuff. So I also want to kind of, at some point, whether it's through like sort of charity stuff, or as I've got more time on my hands, I want to try and kind of raise awareness for that as well, because it affects a lot of people in our community, and obviously men's mental health as well. Our community is predominantly kind of male. As much as I would like it to be more balanced, it's not, and it is predominantly male, and male mental health is a very kind of under supported topic. And I'm actually surprised more companies, people like GW and stuff, don't actually support that kind of stuff really. So yeah, I intend to try and support that somehow. I have no idea how I'm going to do that. I've been on my own kind of journey and stuff, and I'm always open for people to kind of speak to me, and even if they just want to kind of have somebody to talk to, I'm always happy for that kind of stuff. But I'm certainly not a professional. But as much as you might know me for love and talking, I actually am quite all right at listening as well. Where is that just jumped off the top of my chat now? VJ says, so have you actually handed in your resignation at work now, Andy? No, I haven't, but it's kind of complicated, and I'm not allowed to talk about my situation at the moment. But in the coming days, I should be able to, and I'll be able to talk more openly about it. But it's good news, right? Let's just put it that way. It's fantastic news, and I'm really, really happy about it. But I can't. I'm not in a position to be able to kind of go into the details like on a live stream, because I haven't even had the go ahead to kind of speak to my own team yet, if you like. And the only reason I'm saying that is because like I know for a fact they won't watch this. Nobody at my work knows I do YouTube stuff, and if they do, they've never mentioned it to me. So yeah. So in the next week, I think I should be able to be a lot more open and honest about what's happening. But it's good news. I just don't want people to find out on YouTube, rather than me actually speaking to people in face-to-face first. Well, I'm chopping through these, and I am quite enjoying this little ramble just to kind of keep things going. Stacey and beard lovers, I've since we talked about it last Monday on the live stream, like a week gone Monday, I've not shaved my beard. I've not even like trimmed it. I've not tidied it up. I've done nothing with it. I intend to just kind of let it go, and I've not shaved my head either. You'll be able to see the lights is making it look a bit worse there, but I just want. When am I ever going to get the chance where I don't have to go out and see people? I can always wear a baseball cap, so I'm just gonna grow and see what happens. See how bad it looks these days. Where VG saying congrats, mate. That must have been back then, I think. Christian saying set up house party app painting group with some of your fellow content creators. I don't actually speak to a lot of the other content creators. It's not like we're a massive big hangout. I obviously speak with Jay from Top Table Gaming. Me and him speak like at least every week, if not most days. Luke Fellows as well from Luke's APS. Luke and I are quite pally as well, and we'll chat sort of every so often as well. We went through a period where we're talking like chatting almost every day and stuff like that. But obviously he's got his new business just moving and stuff as well, and he's not been very well, so he's been a bit quiet lately. But we had a bit chat this week. We had a bit of a chat and stuff. But other than that, I don't really know. Like I'm not. I don't think I'm in that kind of social circle of the cool kid creators kind of thing. I'm not really like in amongst that. Obviously, there's Jay as well from Tabletop Oddity. Me and him kind of obviously have done some stuff together in the past, and I class him as a good friend as well. But yeah, we're more mates really, rather than just like than content creator type stuff, if you like. So some people feel a bit awkward with that term as well, but I'm all right with it. It's, you know, what else do you call somebody that creates content? Because it's so varied. So yeah, I'm not really down with the cool kids. I mean, like I know Luke is kind of like he's pally with like Miniac and Black Magic Craft and Squidmore and those guys and stuff. But maybe when I'm doing this kind of full time and I'm more into it and we don't have this coronavirus lockdown stuff, maybe I'll get more into it. But to be fair, one of the points of going to Adepticon this year was around sort of a bit of networking really as well, getting out and meeting some of these companies that I might want to sort of try and build some kind of a relationship with, to, you know, like if they can send me some stuff early, like I don't even mind paying for the stuff, but if I can get it a bit earlier, it makes all the difference. It makes my content kind of watchable because it's the first, if you like. So it was about building relationships and stuff, but it's just a shame that never happened. Steve saying that's not all. Try painting with Humbrol enamel paints. That's what was on them, mate. When I was trying to strip it, off, that's what was on the boogers. Deep Red said, I always struggle to understand what Ash Barker says. He speaks very, very quickly. I mean, I thought I had quite a fast accent, but Ash Barker sometimes he does get very, very fast with his speech. And I guess if you're a fan of his, then you pick up on it and you go with it. But sometimes even I lose him a little bit. I tend to slow down the way I speak a little bit, I think, when I'm on stream here. If you kind of like even when I did the podcast with my wife. So for those of you that are on Patreons, anybody that pledges at the $5 and above mark gets access to the new BlackJack Legacy podcast. And for the first episode, I did an episode with my wife. So we were talking about the games that we play together and like what's her kind of experience of gaming and what kind of things does she like and stuff. More like partially because obviously it's easier to record with my wife because it's just, you know, we can sit down like at multiple times, but also it gave me an opportunity to do the first one where if there was any problems I could stop and restart, or if when I came to edit it hadn't worked properly, we could go back and re-record stuff. So I did it with my wife, and what were you talking about there? What Ashbot says, yeah, so that was what we're talking about. So yeah, we obviously both from the northeast. We both speak pretty fast. And so I think we had to kind of almost be conscious of that as well when I was recording the podcast, so that we didn't it didn't become Newcastle FM kind of thing, and only locals could hear it. But I think my northeast accent is a little softer than some. Like if you go right into the centre of Newcastle or right in the centre of Sunderland, because I'm from Sunderland originally, even though I've probably lived in Newcastle longer than I've ever lived in Sunderland. Yeah, some of those accents are really, really broad and are actually quite difficult to understand. Vijay saying 10k subs is the magic number for getting GW stuff. Is it? It is, mate, and I imagine it's because no doubt they get bombarded with people wanting. Excuse me, shaking the paint up as well. I'm sure they get bombarded with people wanting free stuff all the time or wanting stuff early and that. So by putting that 10,000 threshold in, it kind of basically they know that people getting to 10,000 subs are kind of like at least serious about what they're doing, I suppose. So yeah, that's what the barrier is. But I guess as more people start to get up to 10,000, I can imagine that goes to 15,000 or whatever. So yeah, if I get to 10,000, I guess that's the point when GW start actually sort of paying some attention to that I exist, if you like. But I just passed 7,500 a few weeks ago. It's a nice start. It feels nice to like. I still consider myself as like a small channel, but within our miniature hobby, it's like I think if you get over 5,000 subs, really, you're you know, you kind of you're doing something right to get that kind of numbers. Thought says no swearing, Billy Big Bollocks. I don't consider bollocks as swearing. If I said the F word, it's definitely swearing. George says, talk about Shadows of Brimstone. Okay, I don't know anything about it, mate. That's all I've got to say on the matter. I've never played it. Steve says, those were the days you almost used to pass out after painting for an hour when the fumes did give off. Claudia says, help out Mantic with a spotlight, which they deserve, in my fat boy opinion. Get some swag. For me, that would be win-win. Mantic's a funny one. I'm really friendly with the guys at Mantic, don't get me wrong. Like, they've supported me over the years and stuff like that. But I think as they're trying to up their game, obviously they've got their own content guy now, Matt. As they're trying to up their game, they're starting to kind of pay for advertising, pay for content and stuff now as well. So people like Luke Fellows from Luke's APS, people like Miniac. When Kings of War 3 came out, they were obviously doing some content for Mantic then. So they were doing some sponsored videos. And I think obviously they're just, as they're wanting to kind of raise their profile, I think they're doing more and more with kind of bigger creators, if you like. People like Black Magic Craft and people like Miniac and people like Luke. So maybe I'm just not quite big enough to have the impact that they want, really. Maybe that's it. I don't know. We're still friendly. Like there's no kind of animosity with us or anything like that. We speak relatively often, obviously over the whole slow grow campaign type stuff as well. They've supported the slow grow campaign, which obviously has been great for their game, but it's not really done anything for me. I didn't do it to kind of to grow my presence, if you like. I did it to help motivate me to paint a Kings of War army, really. So whilst they've been given like discount codes, that kind of stuff, it doesn't make me any money. It makes them money. It's grown their kind of game, really. It's not technically doing anything for me. Most of the people in that slow grow campaign, for example, have no idea who I am about. Like from a YouTube point of view, it's almost irrelevant, really, that I've got a YouTube channel. So yeah, whilst I'd love to help those guys out, I feel like maybe they've moved on to bigger channels now, because they used to ask me to go down and film and stuff. So they used to ask me to go down. I did all that Hellboy stuff for them. I've done stuff in the past. These days they tend not to ask. So just being honest, really. Like it's like I say, there's no animosity. There's no hard feelings or anything like that. Business is business. But if they want me to help, then just got to ask, really. Steve saying you've got that right, I assume, and that's from the content there, from the comment above about helping them out. Yeah, I guess that's kind of, I guess that's the reason, really. Like I said, Steve, there, it's like we've had a good relationship for a number of years, really. Like I've been down there a few times to film and stuff. They were even talking at one point when they were getting ready to do League of Infamy. They were actually going to come to my house to film, because they asked me if I could get involved, and I basically just said, look, it's like I've actually run out of holidays from work. I've got no more holidays left to take, so I can't get the time off work to come and film. And they were at that point talking about actually them travelling to me to film here. But for whatever reason, it never come off. So yeah, I think I honestly just think it's a case of they're as they're trying to raise their profile. They've obviously got a little bit more marketing money to spend, and I think they're just spending it with bigger creators, really. So I hope it. They obviously went on to mini wargaming. They went on to Beasts of War as well at the same time with Kings of War. So yeah, I think that's all it is, mate. So I didn't tell you what paint I'm using now. So this one is Ogren Camo. So I'm using this one just to lighten this up now. So it's kind of hard to tell maybe on this light and stuff, but I'm just kind of picking bits out now, really, just so you kind of see some difference in colour. It'll look a bit blurred now, but these like teeth around here need whitening. The eyeballs need putting in. I'll be putting probably some red into those eyeballs, and then I'll probably pick out some extra bits as well, just to kind of lighten it up. But it's starting to come together. Deep Red saying, I hope this paint and chat thing becomes a regular thing. Do you know what it is, buddy? Like, I don't even find it took me a little while to get set up today, because I'd never, it's been a long time since I did any kind of paint and chat stuff, and I wanted it to look quite nice on the screen and all that kind of stuff. Like I enjoy that side of doing the YouTube stuff. Like I said, I don't like kind of, I'm not in this to become a YouTuber, but I love the kind of filming side of it. I love the filmmaking aspect. It's like the filmmaking is as much of a hobby for me these days as the miniature side of things are. So if I ever kind of fell out of love with miniature painting and kind of playing games and stuff, I'd probably be looking for something else to do on YouTube, because I actually just love the making videos and that kind of side of things. So so it took me a little while to get set up today. That's what I was going to say. However, once it's set up, I just really enjoy this kind of stuff. Like it took me a long time to get comfortable on camera, if you like, and just sitting in an empty room on my own talking. It felt really weird the first probably year I was doing it. But it's like anything, you know, the more you do it, especially when you've got a good group of folks in like you lot as well, like if you're in there kind of interacting, it makes all of this so much easier. So as long as people want to come and listen, mate, as long as people want to hang out and stuff, I'm always happy to do more of this kind of stuff. To be honest, if people were interested in it, I'd be like, especially over this kind of whole lockdown period and stuff, until I get my kind of schedule right and knowing exactly what my schedule is going to be. I'm happy to do this most weeks. You know, I'm happy to do this every week or every other week if people are interested. If it helps people to kind of sit like almost schedule in a night to sit and paint, then I'm happy to sit and paint with you. Let's have a look. Where are we at? BJ is saying mental health is a massive issue right now with the lockdown, and it's going to get even bigger the longer this drags on. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to kind of come across as some kind of like born again Christian type thing. It's not like I've discovered religion, but when I was going through my own kind of issues and stuff, I never kind of took any medication or anything like that, and maybe I should have done. Maybe if I had took some medication, it might have kind of speeded up the process and stuff. But I wanted to kind of try and deal with it in my own way, if you like. And I ended up, I've read loads of books, I've listened to kind of loads of podcasts and loads of audio books, and I've really tried to kind of understand it myself as well, and what drives, why do I think certain ways, why do I react a certain way to things, and I honestly feel like I know what triggers my own issues now, because of like sort of learning myself, and if for example anything I've learned could help somebody else, if it helps one other person, because I feel like I'm through the other side of it, if you like. It's always kind of it'll be there, and it rears its head from time to time if I'm having a bad day, but I kind of know how to deal with it now, really. So yeah, especially with people getting like lockdowns and stuff now, I'm always happy to talk about that stuff. Claudio says, I've always loved the points about mental health you've mentioned. I just think it's I don't want to kind of preach about it or anything like that, and I know people come here to kind of for a bit of escapism, but I just want people to know that like, you know, they're not on their own, if you like. You know, there's plenty of people out there with similar issues and stuff, and if reaching out to somebody, if they, you know, maybe they don't want to talk to somebody face to face or somebody they know really well, if it's just a random stranger, feel free to send me a message. You know, if you just want to vent sometimes. You know, sometimes it's good. You might feel like you know me well enough to share, but you don't know me well enough where you feel like it's gonna like blow back in your face or whatever. So yeah, I'm always there to kind of help if people want to chat. BJ says, are you wet blending these highlights, mate? I'm kind of trying to, mate. I'm not like, I don't tend to do a lot of wet blending because I tend to do things for speed. So what I'll tend to do is do a wash over the top, mate, and then like highlight it back up again. But because these are like old school type minis, I'm trying to not use washers. So I am ending up to kind of wet blending and stuff. And to be fair, it's not something I do very often. So it's almost kind of like pushing the board for me a little bit as well, really. VJ says, how is Luke? Haven't seen much from him recently. Hope his business doesn't get hit too hard. Luke's really well at the minute. So he's been ill recently. He had like an abscess in his mouth, and it come at a time as well when he was transferring his business to Wakefield as well. So the business used to be, I think it was like Dorset or somewhere. It was quite far down south. So he was like flying down south every once in a while, and he was having to try and kind of like train staff, and like kind of keep on top of it that way. And what they've done is now they've got a really nice kind of big factory unit in Wakefield, which is right near where he lives, and they've moved the business up into kind of the Yorkshire area now. So at the time when he was trying to move the business, he got this abscess in his mouth as well, and I think he's had to have a bit of an operation as well to take that out. So he's well other than that. Then at the minute he's got a bit of a cough and a bit of a cold, and he says it's not coronavirus, but in that he gets this basically every year around the same time, whatever it is, whether it's a change in the weather or whatever, it kind of rears up, and it kind of knocks him for six for a little while. So he's ill again at the minute as well, but and he's quite kind of open talking about it as well, so I don't mind mentioning it here. But he's also diabetic as well, so I think he's got type 2 diabetes, or type 1, I can't remember. But he's diabetic as well, so basically he's got to look after himself, you know. He's got to be careful. But business is doing well. He's luckily, because it's like still a relatively small business, he's managing to do a lot of stuff from home as well with the lockdown and stuff, because it's so close to his home. And he's still in the process of setting it up. He's managing to do that. So yeah, he's doing really well. I'm massively proud of what he's done. He's, you know, like, whilst I'm not following the same path as him, as in sort of growing a YouTube channel and growing a business, I think he shows that it can be done, and that if you look at these videos now, or the last few years, like the last year or so, versus where his first ones were, like, he's learned from scratch the same way I'm learning from scratch. If you look at my videos now, even the quality of this live stream versus the quality of some of my earlier videos, it's night and day, really. So yeah, he's doing really well, mate. Thanks. Tony says, Calm, campaign against living miserably are definitely worth using and supporting. They helped me immensely a couple of years ago when I was at a very low point. I think Calm is the charity that I was looking into, actually, when I was looking to like, you know, which charities would I like to try and do something for. They might have been one of the ones, actually. But yeah, thanks, mate. VJ is saying Ash talks him 100 miles an hour. Tiberius is saying Ash is very, very excited most of the time. Ash, as much as I love watching Ash, sometimes I feel like he is almost like he's the most excited person with low motivation at times. I feel at some videos you can see that he's just not into it, but his high energy gets him through it, if you like. Claudio saying, thanks for the honest answer, Andy, regarding Mantic. Not a problem at all, mate. Yeah, I'll always give you honest answers, unless of course it's a bit like I can't talk about something, you know, whatever. Steve saying, I spend most evenings sat painting, so more live streams suits me. To be honest, mate, I mean, the whole point of me going full time into this, I've got to decide what my content's going to be, because I'm not going to suddenly like change what I do. I just want to do more of it, really. And especially at the minute while we're kind of in lockdown and I can't get out to visit kind of companies and stuff, or I can't go out shopping and have a look at the like demo new games and talk about stuff. I need to find things that I can kind of fill that content with, really, because at the end of the day, especially for folks who are like Patreons and things, they've put a lot of faith into me by supporting me all this time to get me to a point where I can kind of make that dream a reality, really. And I'm there now. So I need to kind of deliver on my promise, really. I need to up that content. So whilst at the minute it's not the perfect time, I just got to adjust. You got to kind of pivot a little bit and make the content fit the situation I'm in. So if painting streams is one of the ways that people want to see more content, I am more than happy to sit here and paint stuff until I run out of stuff, and then I'll have to paint something else. But something tells me I'm not going to run out of stuff to paint in quite some time. Yeah. Crabby saying, I'll add to that. If anyone needs a chat, please give me a shout. Always happy, and I'm always happy to have a bit of a chat and shoot the breeze. Yeah, I mean, me and Al have kind of chatted, like, I'm sure Al won't mind me mentioning this. We've chatted about this kind of stuff before as well, and I think at some point we'll probably do like a live stream, maybe like a Monday live stream, and we might even use that as a topic, really, kind of like mental health in gaming and stuff. And I think Al will probably be an awesome person to kind of have as a bit of a co-host, really, on that one, because like people can only talk about their own experiences and stuff, really. Like I say, like the stuff that I've learned through it all might not help another single person. Somebody who's kind of like suffering might turn around and say, like, well, what you're saying is absolute bollocks. Basically, like, it's, you know, I've tried that, it doesn't work. But like everyone's different, and all I really want to kind of do is to say that you're not alone in it. You know, you're not like, you're not weird, you're not different. Like, you know, and that it's perfectly. It's just health. Like, everyone has mental health. Some people have poor mental health, and some people have strong, like, good mental health. So that's all it is. It's just like people are just like, you know, like some people are ill and some people are not ill. It's that kind of stuff. George saying painting minis can almost be a meditation as long as you keep talking. So it helps me if I'm feeling low. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, mate, nobody wants to tune in to watch me painting a miniature in silence. Let's be honest. And to be fair, you're not tuning in for the quality of my painting. I'm not even sure you're tuning in for the quality of my chat. But if it's just a bit of background, a bit of company, makes you feel like you're part of a group, then I'm giving a bit of a service, really. That's kind of how I'm seeing it, really. I'm just providing a bit of a service. Where are we at? Deep Red saying, right off to bed, night, and stay safe. The same to you, Deep Red. Thank you so much for coming in for this, the first of what we hope will be many painting live streams. Thank you very much. Peter says, keep these painting broadcasts, as I say, my first session this year, and I have loads of great plastic needs colour. I'm glad, mate. I'm glad that it's inspired you enough to break out the brushes tonight, because that's really what this is about. As I say, this is not a painting tutorial. It's not like I'm not a great painter. I'm a very basic painter, really. And this is it's almost just background. It's something to kind of pass the time with, really. I mean, I'm sure that somebody will comment about, you know, when somebody tunes in and watches this back, there'll be somebody goes like, my God, your painting's awful. Like, why on earth are you painting on YouTube? I'm not doing this to show how good I am. I'm just doing this to pass the time while I'm having a natter with you lot, really. Crabby saying, yes, mate, I'm in a place at the minute where I'm happy to do that, as we discussed. If someone gets something from it, it's worth doing. 100%, mate, I agree. And to be honest, mate, it'll probably help me and you as well. So there you go. Tony saying, these are strange times and I enjoy the painting live streams. We understand that you're operating under some very restrictive circumstances at the minute. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of restrictive. I mean, so as an example, I mean, basically when the plan I had in place to go full time would have meant that when it happened, my little one's at nursery during the day, my wife's at work. I drop them off in the morning. I have a whole day to be either live streaming or making videos or painting stuff to prepare it for future videos, that kind of stuff. He kind of comes in, my wife comes in from work and that, we have our meal. I can do live streams on the evenings, and I use that time to do my work. What's happening at the minute is obviously nurseries are closed in the UK, so my wife's still working, and I'm basically in the house, like, looking after the little one full time. Because he's only 3, he takes quite a bit of, like, entertaining, if you like. So I can't, like, just disappear and record a video, or just disappear and paint a load of minis, or do prep work and stuff. So I'm kind of trying to work around the time I've got. So whilst it's not ideal, it is what it is, and I've got to try and make it. I've got to try and make it work, mate. That's all there is to it. Mark says, okay, on a lighter subject, who's interested in Frosthaven getting some serious attention on Kickstarter? On Kickstarter, mate, I think I just looked tonight and it just passed £4 million. I've never played Gloomhaven. I know you can play it solo, so it's always been something that's tempted me. I'm not sure if I would play a game of that size solo. I'm not sure if I would kind of if I would kind of commit to the whole thing. However, I am really interested in it. But then when I started looking at the different pledge levels, the solo stuff, like some of the solo missions and things, comes in at the second tier, if you like, which was about $140, something like that, I think it was. Which, to be fair, is not too bad for what you get. But then when I saw the next tier up, which was $240, and all the nice stuff that you get with it, like the kind of like the metal coins and the reusable stickers and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, oh god, like is it just the kind of money that, like, am I going to end up sinking like $200, $240 into something that'll just sit on my shelf and never get played when it eventually does arrive? So I'm watching it with interest, mate. And at some point I'll have to, as they say, I'll get off the pot and decide what I'm going to do about it, whether I want to back it or not. But I can only expect that it's going to be great. Like it's essentially Gloomhaven, but better. Like with a lot more experience behind it and stuff, and like a lot more, a bit more work, and sort of tidying up all the bits that you might have thought didn't quite work great the first time around, if you like. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in it, mate. Have you backed it, Mark? Is it something you're thinking about doing? George is saying you're doing a grand job, mate. Thank you, George. Much appreciated. Mark was saying he's going to wait for retail. That's the other side of it as well. And yeah, there was some comment on that, I think, as well, about shipping. That was a bit like, like shipping is going to be more expensive, or VAT. VAT might change or something like that. I was a bit worried about it. George is saying, Mark saying it was at 4.4 million now. It was at 3.99 or something, I think, before I came on the live stream. Peter saying, I think your live streams are therapy to a certain degree. So long may you continue to post. I think it's therapy for me, mate, to be fair. I enjoy doing it. So, Joyce, saying you better off playing Shadows of Brimstone. You might be right there, mate, to be fair. Like I say, I've not played that before, so there's no point diving in with the big stuff. I might as well learn as I go. Peter saying he had a look, but it wasn't a pledge level that suited the interest. Yeah, I think this is the problem with Kickstarter. I always think, I'll just buy the core set. That'll be enough. But then you always see there's always something that kind of tempts you to spend that little bit more. The only game I actually have done that with, and I'm really pleased I did, was I did it with Hellboy. I just pledged for the core set, and that was all I got. I didn't get any of the expansions, and even now there's still more stuff than I know what to do with, if you like. So yeah. Richard saying, thanks for that night, Andy. Got my Reapers almost done. Just a few highlights and shades to do now once they dry tomorrow. Going to go watch some telly with the missus night, guys. Good night, mate. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, make sure you get some family time as well, buddy. Always good to make sure keep everyone sweet. Claudio saying, just finished his snow speeder 2 now. Only basing needed on his ATRT and speeder, but I'll do that in the other room. So what to do now? You can be the voice of the chat, mate, if you want. You can ask me the questions, because the questions are drying up now, and we're coming up to 10:30, and I've pretty much done the skin tone on all these, but I'm happy to go a little bit longer if people are still wanting to chat. We've got like 36 people in. We've bounced around that 40 to 45 mark all night. So most of you must have settled in for most of the show. So yeah, you can be the voice of the chat for 5 minutes, mate, if you want to keep it going. Richard saying, love the community aspect of these chilling chats, so always up for painting along as if I've got time. Yeah, that's what they're about, mate. Like I say, like these videos are never going to get like thousands of views. Like it's like, it's at the end of the day, if you want to be big on YouTube, you need to either be hugely entertaining, or you need to be like so knowledgeable about something that you're teaching people things. So like if you're teaching somebody, or like if it's an entertaining review or something, then you might do all right out of it. But these are for the community. Like my stuff's always been community led. It might not do big views, but it's got a real kind of like core audience, and it's got a like a loyal audience, I think is the word I'm looking for, and that to me is worth its weight in gold. At the end of the day, if I've got one person watching me, like, that's somebody taking time out of their day to come and see what I've got to say, really, that's like, it's massive. It's not to be kind of underrated or to be kind of diminished, really. So anybody that's just starting out YouTube channels and stuff, like, and you see, it's easy to get like disparaged when you see people with 50 views, 100 views, thousands of views. It's dead easy to kind of get disparaged when you think, I'll never get there. But if you've got one person, like, how cool is that? One person, like, from somewhere in the world, that could be from anywhere, that one person's interested in what you've got to say. And that's amazing. Where are we at? Adam Edgar, hello, mate. Did I miss you earlier on? Nice to see you, mate. He's trying to hold off buying anything until I know what's going to happen with the economy over here. Yeah, you guys don't get a really good exchange rate at the best of times when it comes to minis, do you? Yeah, and I know exactly what you mean. Let's have a look where we're up to. So he's used a few vouchers, etc., but not spending real money on anything. If you've got stuff as well, mate, like, you might as well use what you've got. Peter saying it's also interesting to hear what minis other people are doing. Yeah, I always enjoy that bit as well. Understand what everybody else is up to. Carrier says, what games are you planning to play next? Private and for the channel. You mentioned Dead Zone, but also Vanguard, Warcry, Legion. Yeah, to be honest, mate, having more time on my hands now. The plan was to obviously invite people over to film like battle reports or stuff, or for them to play games with me, so that I've got more knowledge and more information about them. I've got stuff on my shelf I can use, so I've got all my kill team stuff. So if terrain wise, I can play a number of different games. I've got all my Warcry stuff. I've got my Vanguard stuff. Dead Zone's something I want to give a try to. It's always interested me, but I've never really got around to kind of getting it to the table. There's loads of games. Marvel Crisis Protocol's always something that's interested me. New Code 1 from Corvus Belly with the new Infinity rules. That interests me. I've got Super Fantasy Brawl coming. There's loads of games that I wanted to do and want to try. But where I am at the minute is like just in this kind of weird limbo situation where the time I thought I'd have on my hands, I probably haven't. So we will find a way, mate. We'll find a way. Right, colours wise, what am I going to do? I think the plan was to try and stick to the box art as much as possible and try and keep these looking cool. So I'm going to leave the skin for now until I get a bit further, and I might tidy the skin up a bit later. But I think I'm going to go with a corn red for the boots, and then probably, do I want to go with that red? I don't want to go a little bit darker first. I think I'm going to put a little bit of black into this corn red and kind of darken down the boots a little bit, and maybe highlight up to the corn red. And if I'll show you, I took a picture. I can show you on my phone. So this is a photograph of the side of the box that I took, and that's kind of what I'm trying to. That's what I'll try and copy. So yeah, that's why he's having red boots. I haven't just gone completely mad and decided he's one of Santa's elves. Where are we at? Christian saying George is saying, did he mention Shadows of Brimstone? I think he might have mentioned it once or twice, mate. Steve saying he just finished 4 more 6mm ogres. Bloody hell, mate. I saw on your little video thing you did the other day, mate, of your hobby room, which was awesome to see. It's really nice so many people has kind of been doing that. It's nice to see where everybody else kind of holds up and does their hobby. But I saw the 6mm stuff you've been doing, and like the size of the board, it's amazing when you scale like a 28mm game down to 6mm, just how small that game board becomes. It's going to be really interesting to see that project, mate. Adam says, yeah, I said good morning half an hour ago, but you snubbed me. Oh, sorry, buddy. That's the joy of these live streams. I do sometimes miss stuff. I apologise. I never snub anybody intentionally. You would know if I snubbed you intentionally because I would never speak to you for the entire chat. Mark says the Vanguard starter set coming out later in the year is interesting me. I'm massively I mean, obviously I've already got a load of Vanguard stuff, so it probably doesn't. Unless there's something new in it. It's not massively kind of something I'm needing, if you like. However, it's something that should have been there from day one, in my opinion. Obviously, Mantic have got their own reasons. I know they've always said in the past that they're very expensive, but personally, for me, I mean, in this day and age, if you're going to bring out a skirmish game, I think you need a starter set. And especially for Vanguard, where there's a lot of, like the dice and stuff are different. It works better with tokens. There's quite a few bits and pieces that really should have been in that starter set. So I'm glad it's coming now. I just hope it's not too late, if you like, and that people have already kind of dismissed it and that it's an older game now. But it's nearly 2 years old now, I think. But it's a good game. Don't get me wrong, it is a fantastic game. I really enjoyed it. I only stopped playing it really because I started playing other stuff. But yeah, I'll definitely be going back and revisiting it. And I certainly think I'll be getting a Ratkin force, I think, when they come available. George is saying tomorrow I may go back to painting some Warpath and Dead Zone minis. Do you play much Warpath, mate? What do you think of it? I don't hear a lot about it these days. So just for those painting wise, I might as well talk about the paint as well. I've mixed a bit of corn red there with a bit of Rhinox hide, which is a brownie colour, and I'm just kind of darkening these down. And then I think what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll kind of layer these up to the red a little bit, so it's a little bit darker in the recesses. There's quite a lot of like ridges on these shoes, right, wrinkles in the material, so it gives us some good opportunities to kind of highlight the tops of them. Claudio says, Mark, that game is awesome. Don't know what game we're talking about. Oh, Vanguard, yeah. Been a while since I played, but there were times I was playing more Vanguard than PC games, which is massive for me. I saw Kieran has been doing is it Vassal? He's been doing a Vanguard element for Vassal, so you can play that online at the minute. Has anybody tried that yet? He's been doing some sterling work, putting together some things for Mantic, for Mantic games, not for Mantic, but for the games that Mantic make. So yeah, anybody who's not getting their game and fix at the minute and doesn't mind a game of Vassal. Vassal is basically like an online, like tabletop simulator type thing, which is free. And he's been doing the Vanguard stuff for that. Peter said he's finished painting tonight with a 10th member for Blood Ravens. Don't know why I had 9. Maybe one of them was in hiding, mate. Maybe it was like a stealth team. That's what it was. Marks has never played it. When you get everything in the box to start playing, it's a plus. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, mate. That's why it should have been there from day one. Because the problem with you had to buy the rule book, then you had to buy a team, like a war band, or you had to buy 2 war bands. Then you had to buy the token set, which had the objectives in as well. And I think the dice were separate. So then you had to buy the dice as well, because the dice were sort of critical to the game. And if you think how well the Walking Dead starter set did, which again needed all those kind of cards and dice and obviously miniatures and rules. And I think they've kind of learned from how well the Kings of War 3rd edition starter set did. So I'm not surprised that's what they're doing. I'm just surprised it's took this long. So for whatever reason, it's coming now. But yeah, good news. George is saying, maybe some Carnivale miniatures. Carnivale has an amazing starter set. I've not seen a starter set for that, mate. Actually, I thought that was another one that didn't have a starter set. I quite like the look of Mythos from War Cradle. I actually contacted War Cradle and kind of explained my situation about kind of going full time and like, is there anything we could do together? And they basically sent me an email back just saying that they had other commitments, which I thought was a bit weird. Like, surely they just like, even just to entertain me with like, you know, like, yeah, we'll happily send you some kind of press information or something like that. Like, we'll send you the latest news on our games, or you know, or when this all blows over, why not come down and visit us or something like that. Like, I thought they would have at least been interested in a conversation. But yeah, I just got an email back basically just saying, oh yeah, like we've got other commitments, which assumes that they're paying other people to do content, and not only are they paying other people to do content, they've probably agreed not to work with anybody else while they're doing that. So it's kind of put me off them a little bit, if I'm honest, because I was looking to try and do some stuff around Wild West Exodus, which is another game that interests me. Dystopian Wars and Mythos as well, but it was just the tone of the email that kind of put me off wanting to help, if I'm perfectly honest. I know sometimes when it comes to business, you have to bite your tongue and you know, just get on with this kind of stuff. But I have to say, it just seemed badly worded reply, if I'm honest. Claudio saying the Vassal and Tabletop Simulator isn't anything for me. Me and his girlfriend are both in, not me and his girlfriend, him and his girlfriend are both into PC games. Yeah, I've not tried a lot of Tabletop Simulator stuff, although it feels like the kind of thing that you have to invest quite a bit of time in to get the most out of it, I think. I'll tell you what I might do at some point. There is Super Fantasy Brawl is on. Is it Tabletopia? I think it's on to play for free. If anybody fancies a game of that one night, we could maybe do that on a live stream. That might be quite cool. Something else to pass those nights. Give people something to put on in the background while they're sitting doing a bit of painting or something. If Christian maybe fancies that. I know Christian's got Super Fantasy Brawl on the way as well. Tony saying, finished, we'll set up a table and actually be able to play tomorrow. Awesome, mate. Nice to hear people getting the stuff done. That's what I like. Marco saying, 2 questions. What was the GW secret you knew? What do you think will be launched at the weekend? Okay, it's been such a long time now, I can probably come clean with it. So I had heard that they were going to be releasing airbrushes. And that they'd signed a deal with quite a large airbrush manufacturer to supply them with GW airbrushes or GW branded airbrushes. And I thought when contrast paints were coming, I thought that's what it was going to be. I thought it was that announcement. And then more recently, I saw them doing a few airbrush videos online as well. And I thought maybe it's coming again. But yeah, for whatever reason, it's It's either been put on the back burner, it's been knocked on the head. It's been knocked on the head by the looks of things. So it's either something that's going to happen later, or the information I got wasn't quite as sterling information as it was. So, although I have heard other stuff, that's always turned out to be true. So, what do I think will be launched at the weekend? I've heard loads of rumours about 9th edition 40k. However, I think this current situation we've got, where they've stopped manufacturing, they've stopped supplying people, like all of the kind of the industry, all of the kind of hobby suppliers, if you like, all of the, like the Element Games and the Goblin Gamings of this world and Wayland and stuff, they're all going to run out of Games Workshop stock soon. And what will happen is, as soon as Games Workshop's up and running again, all of these companies are all going to place their back orders in to refill all of their stock. And this is going to take months for GW to recover from. They were already at max capacity anyway when it comes to manufacturing. So unless on the sneaky lowdown, they're doing a little bit of stock building in the background and keeping running, unless they're doing that, I think anything that of any big releases that they were maybe thinking of might just be put on hold. So yeah, we'll see, mate. We'll see. Peter says, don't remember those Hero Quest orcs being as detailed as they are. Yeah, they look pretty good with some paint on Andy. Credit your basic painting. Yeah, do you know what it is, mate? I don't remember them being this detailed either. I think it was because they were covered in so many layers of paint that they were kind of blocked up. But yeah, the detail's not bad, mate, is it? George said, if you look like a Wild West Exodus, you love Shadows of Brimstone. That's the last mention. Do you know what it is? Shadows of Brimstone, actually, somebody told me there's a local kind of charity shop around the corner from me, like in a shopping centre, had Shadows of Brimstone in the window for sale. I think it was 50 quid. So I dashed over, I got in the car, dashed over, and when I got there, I opened it up to have a look, and basically all of the miniatures were missing from it. So that was as close as I've got to Shadows of Brimstone. Was I almost bought it, but yeah, I love that kind of theme. To be fair, so I might pick it up at some point. And am I right in thinking, is it Flying Frog Productions as well, who did Last Night on Earth? Because I love Last Night on Earth. I seem to remember that it is. I could be completely wrong with that, but if my brain's not playing tricks on me, that's what I remember it was, I think. Craig saying, how about doing another Fighting Fantasy book on stream, Andy? Do you know what it is, mate? You must have read my mind, because I'm going to do one on Monday. The way I did the last one was via an app on the phone, and that app thing is now available through Steam as well. So I've downloaded it on Steam. I just need to decide on what book I'm going to purchase for the live stream on Monday. And yeah, Monday's live stream, to be announced, will be another Fighting Fantasy live stream book. So yeah, looking forward to that, mate. VG says, if you don't mind me asking, did you see much of a drop off on channel subs or Patreon when you stopped focusing so much on Warcry? What I saw, mate, is I saw a huge increase in subscribers and views, basically, when I did that video about how to build your terrain. It just seemed to kind of hit a point where everybody was looking for that information, and it seemed to get shared everywhere. That video is now my most watched video ever. It's done almost 60,000 views now, and it did about 50,000 of those views in about the first month. And I got about 1,000 subscriptions in a month, or subscribers in a month, on the back of doing that Warcry stuff. My subscriber numbers have dropped right off now, but to be fair, I'm doing a lot less videos than I was then as well. However, Patreon-wise, the people that support me on Patreon tend not to be linked to one particular game. They tend to appreciate the fact that like I'm a bit of a hobby magpie and I jump around between games, and I think they kind of support me for the community aspect as opposed to one particular game. So actually from a Patreon point of view, I actually saw a bit of a lift in Patreons because I think more people found me, if you like, but they've kind of stuck around. So there's a few people, if you ask them, that they kind of found my stuff through Warcry. However, because Warcry was a game that basically appealed to people who maybe wanted a more straightforward game, something that wasn't kind of like a complete kind of lifestyle game, a bit like 40Ks, and it was a bit more simpler rule set, it seemed to attract people to my community and my channel and to my Patreon more specifically, who kind of share very similar values. So it was good for me, really, I think, from a Patreon point of view. It did me a great boost in subscriber numbers, but obviously, it's kind of, if I do Warcry stuff now, I obviously get some decent views from a video, in the same way if I did something on 40K, I get decent views. But as I said before, it's like I'm more interested in servicing the community around BlackJack Legacy than I am about growing numbers these days. Like I want to grow loyal followers, if you like. It sounds like it's a cult now, but you know what I mean. I'd rather grow a community that will support me than just appealing to a large number of people for one particular topic. So I've got no idea whether that painting's been on camera that entire time I was chatting there, by the way. Christian saying, yeah, sure, I'll indeed allow you to beat me in Super Fantasy Brawl again. Yeah, let's set something up, mate. It'd be good to have a catch-up anyway. I'm long overdue giving you a game or something. So let's sort of, even if we don't do it as a stream, mate, even if we just do it as a game, me and you, I'm happy to do that. Tony saying, Shadows of Brimstone's an awesome bit of table hog, but a great game. I remember when I opened that copy that was in the charity shop, the amount of cardboard and stuff that was in there was unbelievable. It's a shame there was none of the miniatures were in there. Otherwise, I definitely would have picked it up. George is saying, yes, it is. And Claudio, yeah, that was the flying frog thing, isn't it? Yeah, I really liked Last Night on Earth. Last Night on Earth was kind of the first proper board game, shall we say, that I picked up. I was obviously into like miniature stuff, but I listened to a lot of D6 Generation back then, and I wasn't really into board gaming so much. And that was like a recommendation from them, and I picked that up at Salute. I think it was the first year I went to Salute. I picked it up, and yeah, that kind of started my love of proper board games, if you like. Claudio's saying yes for Monday. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Claudio, I'll let you choose the book. I'll give you a couple of options, mate. I'll message you tomorrow, and I'll give you a couple of options, and you can choose the book that we listen to or that we play through. Adam says, I'm quite glad the GW release schedule's been halted. Gives me a chance to catch up on this stuff. Their schedule is too intense, and the FOMO they create sucks. Yeah, I think I've become a little bit immune to the fear of missing out stuff now. So it doesn't bother me so much these days. But there was a period of like, a bit like everything, it become a bit Pokemon, didn't it? Like, got to catch them all. Tony saying, yep, nearly done with phase 2 of lava painting. Tony, that stuff, I saw the picture before I came on the stream tonight. It's looking fab, mate. Tony says, I discovered you through that Warcry video, and I'm thankful that I did, as I found my online home. What a nice thing to say. Thank you so much, mate. And VG says, cheers, I thought as much. Yeah, I like I say, I've just... I also lost a lot of subscribers when I started doing that Warcry stuff as well. So for all I saw a huge boost in subscribers, I was losing subscribers as well at quite a fast rate. It was just that I was gaining more than I was losing, which made the numbers keep increasing. Because I think a lot of what I did had been around Mantic stuff, and I actually lost some Patreons around the time I was doing more Warcry stuff, because I think in the early days of my Patreon, there were quite a few kind of, I don't want to say Mantic fanboys, if you like, or anti-GW gamers or anything like that, but I think they were there for the they were there for the Mantic stuff, really. So yeah, so I lost some Patreons, and then I gained some at the same time. So it didn't really affect my income, if you like, because I was gaining and losing at about an equal rate at that point. But overall, I think it benefited me, and it's an awesome game. I really enjoy the game. It's a game I will continuously go back and I play in my kind of, when I'm just playing with like my mate Jason or whatever. Warcry tends to be a game that we break out because it's one that I don't have to try and remember the rules like 6 months down the line. Claudio says, the Warcry phase was a bit strange for me. I watched the stuff but wasn't really interested, had zero contact to it outside of your channel, and I felt like you were doing something you were really passionate, but it was so narrow, which wasn't you thing until then. So again, I grew a bit distant. Yeah, I think a lot of people felt that way, mate, to be fair. And I think the problem was I hadn't really I hadn't been that narrowly focused. And I think what happened was, I think that I was still at a point there where I was still kind of finding my feet with the channel as well, about where really was the future, because I was really kind of down in the dumps, I think, at that point in time as well, with my job and my career and stuff. And YouTube was always kind of where I saw as a way out of that. But I didn't know how to make it work financially. I was never sure how I was going to be able to kind of like to grow the channel to a point where I could make money out of it. And money, it feels like money's a dirty word, but you know what I mean. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Warcry came along. I absolutely fell in love with the game. I did that video. Views went through the roof. Subscribers went up. I seemed to reach a whole new community and stuff. And I probably did get sidetracked on it. So yeah, and I think I narrowed down because the more stuff I made, the more views I got. But then after a period of time, I got to a point where I was like my own hobby is moving around between different games. I love to play different stuff. So then I kind of went back and kind of started playing something different again. So yeah, I think that's kind of, I appreciate actually for some of my kind of hardcore people who'd been around for years, it was probably a bit of a like, what the hell's going on stuff. VG says, can't even remember how I found you now, but super glad I did. I'm super glad you did it too, mate. Tony saying, Flying Frog includes soundtrack CDs for Shadows. Yeah, they do for Last Night on Earth as well. Christian says, new t-shirt design, join the cult of BlackJack, we have dice. I like that, mate. I'm going to have to remember that now. Claudia said, I'll take PayPal from everyone who helped me decide in the book. I might give you the choice between the books that's on sale at the minute, because then it keeps the cost down for me. Claudia says, I found you through Mantic's mention of your very early Vanguard back rep, which I really liked. Then saw more and finally met you in Manchester, which sealed the deal. It was really cool actually meeting up with you guys in Manchester. It always kind of like amazes me how far people will travel for like games and stuff like that. But yeah, it was really cool to see you guys when you come over. And I hope to see you again very soon, mate, when the world allows us to start travelling again. Because it would be awesome to catch up. Even if you are King of the Beards. Farhead's in as well. Hello, Farhead, how you doing? Steve says, I'll be coming back to your Patreon soon, mate. I don't want to pressure anybody into Patreon and stuff like that. And like, please don't think if somebody decides they want to pledge on Patreon. If somebody wants to pledge on Patreon, they shouldn't feel obliged to do it forever, if you like. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I set up my pledge levels and my tiers to try and encourage people to stick around. But even if you want to do it as a one-off, if you just want to do it once to say, like, I appreciate what you're doing, but I can't afford it to do it on a regular basis, like, never feel like I feel bad if you stop pledging or anything like that. Any support, like if somebody pledges, to me, yes, the money's kind of like it's what's going to pay my wages, if you like, but it's the fact somebody believes in what I'm trying to do that means so much to me, really, much more than the money ever will, until I'm skinned. But yeah, thank you, Steve. Claudia said it was awesome to watch the growth and your love for the game nonetheless. Yeah, and to be honest, like, it's still a game I love, and I will still go and play it, obviously. But if I'm honest, I loved it more when it wasn't full of all the AOS warbands. If I'm completely honest, so when I play it, like if I play at home with my friends, or my friend, I should say, we play the original kind of the warbands, the Chaos warbands from the game. We'll play a Corvus Cabal against Untamed Beasts or something like that. And for me, that's where my love of the game will always be, that kind of alternative setting. As soon as the AOS stuff went a bit nuts, and I'm not a big fan of the card mechanic, the way they sell the card mechanics for the way they sell the cards for the AOS stuff. As soon as that all kind of came in, the game started getting a little bit power hungry for people a little bit. Although, to be fair, when I went to Games Workshop to the Warcry event, where I met with Anna and Alan as well from Red Rose Wargaming. If you're into Warcry, please do check their stuff out. Two lovely people, and I was looking forward to meeting them again soon at their event, their Warcry event, which unfortunately has had to be cancelled. I was looking forward to meeting up with them again. That event itself wasn't. I did play somebody who, whilst they were a really, really nice guy, they were definitely kind of out to win, if you like, and they had a very, very strong list, which absolutely smashed me. I won my first two games, which were like nail biters, if you like, really close games, and then I got absolutely smashed in my third game. And whilst he was still a really nice player, and I enjoyed the game, and I learnt a lot about that warband, it really did highlight to me the differences between the AOS stuff and the Warcry stuff, if you like. But yeah, it's as I've said before, I'm not really a tournament player. I'm not really a competitive player. I go to tournaments because I get to meet some cool people and I get to play more games, really, and that will always be my way. So, and I also want to say thank you as well to Terry. Is it Terry Bass or Terry Bass, who I've just noticed on the screen there is pledged to the Patreon as well. Thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate that. I didn't. Sorry, I didn't see that when it popped up before. Thank you very much. Let me see where that's just gone off the top of the screen a little bit there. Craig said, I only recently rejoined the Facebook group. I left the group because the feed was all Warcry all the time. Yeah, sorry, Craig. I do appreciate, mate. There's a lot of people probably, like I say, it was something I had to kind of like weigh up, really. At that point in time, I didn't understand, or I didn't know how I was going to be able to turn my kind of dream into a reality, really. And at that point in time, I started to get a lot of views. And it was like, I've always known that covering GW stuff will get me more views. But I don't think I realised just how easy it was to kind of turn on that switch, if you like. Since then, I've realised that if I'm in this for the long run, and if I want to stay enjoying this, if this is going to be my full-time job and I'm going to enjoy it, I have to do what I enjoy, basically. And what I enjoy is talking about all of the different games that are out there, not just Games Workshop stuff. And so I had to rethink how I could make it work. And to be fair, it almost, the answer was always there, and I just don't think I realised it, was that basically, like, it was the community. It was like the channel and the Facebook group was always around the people. It was always about community. And actually, it was a community that were willing to kind of put their hand in their pocket and support me as well. And if I could get enough people to do that, then I'm not trying to get rich from this, basically. I've got a minimum amount of money that I need to make each month, and if I can do that, then this thing works. And that's really where I'm at, and that's where I'm, like where I am with my Patreon at the minute. It's not quite enough, but I don't need it. Like, I need it to grow. I don't need it instantly. I don't need it like this second, if you like. But what I know for a fact if I can break free and put more time into it, then I'll appeal to more people who will say, well, you know, this kid puts the time and effort in. I'm willing to support him now. So that's what it's all about, mate. It's just about the community and stuff. Thank you to Kelly as well. Listen, this is not meant. This stream tonight wasn't meant to be kind of like a Patreon pledge, a Patreon drive. So I apologise if that's how it's come across. It's me kind of just sitting a bit more relaxed, really, and talking openly in the same way I would just talk to like my mates sitting around a gaming table, if you like. So I hope that's okay. I don't use these as a kind of as a marketing tool, if you like, or certainly not intentionally as a kind of like a show me your money Bob Geldof kind of thing. But it's massively appreciated. Thank you so much, Kelly. John France says, I found you through your review of Dreadball 2.0. Been here since. Thank you, John. Dreadball's a good game, mind. I need to play more of that. Steve Evans keeps giving me the nudge on that one as well. VJ says, never doubt how far people will travel for games or to meet people they've formed a community with online. He says he went all the way to Oshkosh in the USA for Tabletop Minion Expo. That's amazing, mate. Honestly, like, and I'm sure Uncle Adam was massively blown away by it as well. I'm blown away when we've had our like tabletop weekenders and stuff like that, top table weekenders. Sorry, I'm always like blown away by how far people will travel for that. Like, and when I say how far people will travel, we've had people like come from Dubai and stuff like that, and over from Ireland. But to be fair, like even just like the likes of like people like Peter who travelled quite some distance, Skullmunch and Ruth and Christian, like travelling from down south and stuff. Like it's not a cheap thing to attend. Like the event itself isn't very expensive for what you get, but then when you factor in travel expenses and hotel expenses and food for the weekend, it mounts up. It's like a mini holiday. So like I'm always massively appreciative that that people kind of travel all that way. Like Tony as well. Like Tony in the chat tonight, he always kind of supported those events as well. It's a good excuse for me to catch up with people and to get to see them in the flesh and stuff like that. But yeah, please don't think I take for granted how much it costs you lot to kind of come to these events. Peter said he didn't realise that Warcry was so Marmite, but even though most seem to love it, it goes to show the dangers of being too single-minded. I think there's two ways to look at YouTube stuff, mate. The way to grow a channel, to grow a channel big, is to be very single-minded. So if you focus on Warhammer 40,000 and just talk about 40k and just do bat reps or just like that kind of stuff, you will grow to a decent size. If you can put quality stuff out there, you will grow. If you paint minis, just do miniature painting videos. If you build terrain, just do terrain building videos, if you like. And by focusing on that single thing, you will grow, and you'll grow at a decent rate if you put out quality stuff. The other side of it is if you're like me and you would get bored senseless with just doing one thing all the time, then you need to look at like the model at like how like Ash Barker does it, or how Beasts of War do it. But the problem with that is you need to put out vast sums of content to try and keep everybody happy, because you know for a fact, like if I do a video on Warhammer 40k, it might get more views than normal, but I know my core audience are not the slightest bit interested in it in general. By the same stretch, I can do a video on, let's say something small. Let's say Gaslands, for example, because I haven't done anything on that. I could do a video on Gaslands, and my kind of like a section of my community will be over the moon that I've covered a game that doesn't see a lot of love online, but it'll get next to no it'll get next to no views on YouTube. So what you have to do to make it work is you have to pump out oh, my throat's getting really dry, excuse me. You have to pump out loads and loads of content to try and kind of keep everybody happy, really. So that's how you have to do it, really. Excuse me while I get a drink. Kieran says, found Andy when they built a table Now Nicky's idea for tables in the studio full circle. Yeah, up until that Warcry video, the table build was my most successful video. Tony said he discovered the channel through Walking Dead, and it was the relaxed way you present and the strong desire to do things your own way that kept me hooked. Yeah, I am a little bit like, I wouldn't say I was stubborn, but I can be kind of quite single-minded at times, and I guess it's helped me get to where I am now, to be fair. Adam said, kill team, baby, that's how I found this legend, but the community and diversity of the games on the channel has kept me here. Oh, and of course, that good-looking presenter. Just because that beard's coming in, isn't it? Steve says, as I said before, mate, I watch a lot, and the little money I have for this. Where did I just go? Sorry, mate. I like to spread it around. No, that's exactly it, mate. And I believe you should continue to do that as well, mate. Definitely share the love. If you enjoy a lot of things that a lot of people do, by all means share it around, mate. John said, I'm in Scotland and I've always travelled to cons and tournaments, so I miss Gen Con UK. Yeah, me too, mate. Kelly says, I was hoping to get in a Warcry game with you at Adepticon. I know, Kelly, I was hoping for that. However, what I would say is I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it next year. Let me just flick this off so I don't see my hands flicking around the screen for a bit. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it to Adepticon next year because obviously, like, I've got a full-time job at the minute, and that was what was basically, that's how I could afford to go this year. And I knew I would be doing full-time YouTube by then, so I didn't think I'd be able to afford it. However, because it was cancelled, I got the money back for my flight. So what I've done is I've put that money to one side now, and the plan is to still have that money for next year's Adepticon. So I'm like 90% sure I should be there next year, actually. So, Kelly, whether it's Warcry or something else, let's definitely get a game. Let's definitely get a game in next year. Where are we at? Marco says, bedtime, guys and gals. Yeah, good night. Good night, Marco. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Kelly says, not been mentioning to pledge, but mean to pledge, but work has been nuts. I really appreciate, honestly, like this. I don't even know how to say thank you, that kind of stuff. George is saying, must have been romantic content that got me watching you and then met you at Romantic Open Day. Yeah, I remember, George. Yeah, I remember that. What would it have been? I think I must have been chatting to Matt Mountain around the time I met you, I think that's where we bumped into each other. Kelly says, who would ever paint a goblin as a way to get pledges? Exactly. Let me show you where I'm up to with these minis anyway. I'll show you how far I've got tonight. So I've got 8 of these to this stage. So we've kind of got 3 layers on the skin there, just to give it a little bit of kind of different. And I will go in and tidy up the skin, I think, once the mini's finished. And I've got a couple of layers on the boots there as well. So yeah, I'm sure that's been dull as hell to watch, but it's kind of helped me get through some stuff anyway. Claudia says, I love this open chat. It's so awesome. I don't ever want to stand up. I love these kind of just rambles as well, mate. It's nice to have a topic, but these videos are, let me just go back to there. These videos are aimed at the BlackJack Legacy community. They're not aimed at getting thousands of views. I'm like, if I relied upon getting views to get ad revenue, I wouldn't make the videos I enjoy making. I'd make the videos I know would do well, but then I wouldn't enjoy doing it. That's the whole point. So that's why the Patreon side of things is really important to the longevity of making this kind of happen, really, because I can't rely on ad revenue because I'm not making videos that appeal to the masses. I don't want to kind of do paid videos for companies because then I'm making videos for the companies. I'm not making videos for the viewers. It's things like sort of if you buy through the affiliate links and stuff and I get that little kickback, that's a great way to help me because you get what you want. You're getting a discount from those stores and I get a little bit of kind of commission that comes back from that. Shopping through Amazon, those kind of things. Like, you know, if you want a free trial of Audible, for example, you get a free month of Audible if you go through my link, and I make a small commission for you taking out a free trial, even if you didn't use a second month, for example, even if you only use that one free book, like I still make commission from that. It's all those kind of things in the background, the buying the t-shirts and that kind of stuff. That's what'll make this work. But I can't rely upon ad revenue and I can't rely upon kind of doing sponsored videos because that's just wrong. It wouldn't work for me. I wouldn't enjoy this, and I'd have been bored of it after 6 months. So I've just seen the pledge come through there as well. It's from Anna. It says, £2. Thank you for your services to toilet paper. 15 years I've been doing that. 15 years. Where are we at? Mark saying, looking for tutorials for how to play Walking Dead was how I found the channel. Steve saying, Dreadball rocks. Tony saying, the weekend is worth every penny made. Seriously, best hobby events I've ever attended. Thanks, mate. That means a lot. I'm glad we didn't arrange one now, to be fair. We'd have had to pull it anyway. VJ says, when all this craziness is over, come to the UK to game with you and the Agents of Sigmar lads is high on the agenda. 100%, mate. That would be awesome to get you over here. Anna says, painted first Burrows and Badges minis whilst watching. I want to see a picture of that, Anna. You've got to put one in the Facebook group so I can see what you've been painting. Anybody that, I assume everybody's in the Facebook group, I would love to see what you've painted tonight, you folks. So if somebody wants to start a thread and put a picture in of what you've been painting tonight, if everybody just pings them in the same thread and we put them together, it will be awesome to see what you've all been painting tonight. Peter says, I need Burrows and Badges minis. They are awesome, mate, honestly. You'll love it. Tony, oh, I just jumped off there. Tony saying, to VJ will be awesome. Yeah, VJ saying, have Bootmore your Warcry bat reps, Red Rose. Just need to find a time to watch them. Please do watch them. I would say they're the best Warcry battle reports on YouTube, if I'm honest. Some of the terrain they use is absolutely fantastic. They're really well filmed, and I like the way they kind of have a bit of chat about before the game as well, which not a lot of channels do. So yeah, I think they're the best ones. I'm not a big fan of bat reps in general, so there's only certain ones I can watch, and the ones that Red Rose Wargaming do are ones I can watch. John saying, definitely need more Dreadball. Yeah, Dreadball, those kind of games are perfect for me because I can film in quite a small area. Like what I haven't got is like a team of people with like cameras that can kind of help me out and stuff like that. So anything I can do on a relatively small area is easy for me to do. Everyone's saying about the Red Rose Wargaming bat reps. Yeah, Kelly saying, listen to D6 Generation. Infinity Code 1 was going to be released at Adepticon, maybe even Saturday. It was going to be released at Adepticon. I was going to pick one up. I had a meeting with Carlos Bostria to do it, have a bit of an interview, to sit and chat with them, to go through some stuff potentially for the future. I had a meeting set up with, who was it? I had a meeting set up with, obviously Mantic. I was going to go to the Mantic event as well, the Mantic Saturday night thing. So I was going to obviously see the Mantic guys there. I had a meeting with Sean Sutter, is it, from who does not Mage Knight. Somebody in the chat will know exactly who I'm talking about. I had a meeting with Corvus Belly. I had a meeting with Weird Miniatures with Nathan Caroland to sit and have a chat with him. Who else was it? I had about 5 or 6 meetings all set up. I was like, the intention was to use it as a bit of like a half a day was like business stuff, like trying to set some things up for the future, and half a day of just geeking out and playing games and having fun. And then the night times were my own to do what I wanted as well. So I was really looking forward to that. Yeah, wasn't to be. But I'll have to listen to the latest D6 Generation. Since they stopped doing them so often, I stopped listening to them, and I didn't realise they were still making those podcasts, to be fair. Yeah, once all of this blows out, Anna, I'll definitely be coming down for a game, even if it's just, whether you want to record it or whatever, that's entirely up to you, but I'll be coming for a game once we can start to travel again, because like I say, like the difference is where like sort of weekends and things might be a bit difficult in the past because of traveling with work and not seeing the family much. I won't be doing that traveling anymore, so it's much easier to just say, look, this weekend I'm going to play a game kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be easy to organise that stuff. Sarah says the toilet paper. John saying, where was it? How Forge Fathers will travel. George is saying, going to take a look at his HQ, his HeroQuest minis now, stuck on a slaughter basis. Wow. Steve says, really should go to bed, be up early tomorrow. Yeah, I have to be up early, but I have to be up early for a different reason. So I have to be up early because my wife has a call at like 8 o'clock every morning with work. So I have to be up to make sure I'm looking after the little one while she's on the call with work. So it's like, oh God, every day. Tony saying, it's videos like these that are a huge part of your charm and a chance for us to do mates around the table session. Honestly, mate, do you know what it is? If I get to a point where the Patreon is kind of at a point where I don't have to worry about money anymore, kind of thing. When I get to that point, I'm happy for every video to be like this. Do you know what I mean? But I have to balance out with like doing stuff for the community and for the people that support me and the people I want to spend time with, really. And then I also have to think about, right, I have to kind of market the channel a little bit, if you like. I've got to do the bigger videos, the more polished ones, the more professional ones, to bring in another audience, another level of audience again, to then hopefully get maybe 1 or 2 Patreons out of that. And it's that kind of like cycling it through, like sort of appeal to a wider audience, bring people into the community, like let some people will never come into the community because they just want to see the video and disappear. Some people will come into the community and like kind of drift away, and some will stay and become kind of like firm members of it. And then some of them will be able to help with Patreon and stuff. So that I've got to kind of get that balance right. But if I get to a point where I'm kind of home and dry, if you like, and I'm clear of getting my head above water at that point, every video every video from that point on is a community video. That's just how it'll be. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff. John saying, I need to buy a t-shirt. Do you do dice trays? I don't do dice trays, mate, but I am looking at other options, because at the minute I'm just using Teespring because it allows me to almost subcontract that, if you like. I design the t-shirts myself and upload them to Teespring, and then Teespring do everything else. You basically pay them, they ship them out, they basically pay me any profit that I make from it, which is not huge, to be fair. I make a couple of quid out of a t-shirt, 2 or 3 quid. That's all I make from t-shirt sales. They basically get the rest. So that if I could kind of, with more time on my hands, I can set up a different way of kind of like doing all that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, dice trays would be a good idea. Claudio says, I won't post what I painted. You know I never do that. I know you don't, Claudio. I know you don't. James is saying, Red Rose Arena is fantastic. It was awesome. Steve saying, I'm no hero. Just doing my job. Where are we at? Terry says, sorry, but need to go to bed as chemo is making me tired now. But adding to Patreon tonight will hopefully help you know much pleasure you give us for your tons of enthusiasm. Terry, I hope you're feeling better tomorrow, mate. I hope you're feeling a bit stronger, mate, as well. Make sure that you're back with us for the next live stream, mate. Fighting fit as well. And I really do appreciate your help, mate. And don't forget, we're in the we have the Discord group as well for Patreon. So we have all the Patreons over in a Discord group where it is essentially a bit like this, 24 hours a day. Craig saying to Terry to stay safe as well. Been 10 years since finished chemo, so I know how rough you might be feeling. Yeah, I can't begin to imagine what it's like, mate, but neither me or any of my close family members have been through that, so I don't really have any experience of it, but I can only imagine what you're going through, mate. So yeah, stay strong, buddy. And Tony says, we have an outstanding day to rearrange too. We do, mate. We do have that. We're going to have a brew and a game at Mighty Lancer Games, aren't we? And everybody's saying good night to Terry as well. And I think, folks, I'm probably not going to start painting more now. I've gone on for nearly 3 hours now, which is longer than I expected. But you guys have kind of kept me going. So I think we'll end the stream there. Please, thank you, every single one of you, for dropping in tonight. Thank you to those folks that have pledged and supported tonight as well. It means a huge amount. And I'll see you all in the Facebook group soon as well. So get your pictures into the Facebook group. Let's see what you've been painting tonight. And I will catch you in. Have I got a video this Friday? I think there might be a video this Friday. I can't remember if I'm going to release it this Friday or not. But anyway, I'll see you in the Facebook group. So see you around. And there's a bit of chat going on there. Claudio saying, finishes barricades for Legion just in time. It was awesome. Thanks for doing it, Andy. Anytime I've enjoyed it. And Terry saying that it's his second time, but with the right mindset, it's just an attitude. Terry, you're the hero here tonight, mate. Stay strong, buddy, and you know where we are if you ever need anything. Take care, everyone. Night all.